Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. And tonight, in this special stream of Gobby Bastards, me, Teague, and RRTNZ and Toxic, if we can make it later, will be discussing our top 5 episodes of Miami Vice Season 3. So, without further ado, let's bring on these beautiful bastards. Hello, RT. How you doing, man?
Hey, Dog. Nice to talk to you all. I'm still reeling from the terrible result for Wales yesterday, managing to blow a big lead and lose against Japan. But other than that, I'm all right. Yeah, looking forward to this stream. How's yourself?
It should be a nice little healer as well. And yeah, plus my wife and their family is from Leeds as well. So they'll be very, very fucking happy. So yeah, Admiral Teague, how you doing, man?
Hey, it's good to see you guys. Welcome to everyone, and thanks for having me. It was a fun assignment watching these episodes. Good time.
Yeah, I know, because I mean, even though we've had to watch a lot of shit that's come out this year, it's good to sort of go back to the old school that made life more simpler, for lack of a better term.
I absolutely agree. Even when an episode misses the mark, these decent writers know how to write an interesting beginning, have a clean storyline pretty much most of the time. And as we'll, I guess, get into this year, the show turns a page and is a little bit at odds with itself this season as it becomes more grounded.
Yep, and it becomes a lot more darker as well. I mean, Sonny Crockett loses the big blonde mullet, and he gets the darker colours. He gets the spikier haircut as well, while Tubbs becomes he's kind of still embracing the Miami look a little bit, like you said earlier, but he's becoming a bit more business-like as well. He still keeps the suit and the tie, and he actually still wears his socks in the fucking Miami heat, while Crockett still wears loafers with no socks on, as always. And it does go into some really dark territories as well. We got like,
oh gosh, yeah,
we've got baby smuggling as well, where babies die during the travels, and it's not polite. And the mother has to give up her own kid as well to a family because the kid doesn't know her, and it's grown up with his family. It's
that one made me cry.
Sophie's choice.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit of a tearjerker.
Emotional.
Yeah, there were some fucking emotional ones here as well, and it really did take chances as well. You had one of the regular characters getting killed off and all, and damn, it is a fucking heartbreaking episode to watch. And not only that, it kind of gave this character a bit more dignity as well. It kind of showed that this actor can play this character straight and be a bit more dramatic, and even his partner Switek is given a chance to really flesh his character out a bit more as well, and not just be the sort of fat goofy guy. Dick Wolf really did turn the show around here on this series. He really did.
That's my number one pick. Yeah. I've been looking forward to talking about that episode for about 40 years now. That's my number one. I remember seeing that live back in the 80s when we get to it. And I remember it affected me quite a bit then, and affected me quite a bit watching it on the rewatch down for the count. But we'll get there. Hey, Teague, I've got to say good morning. I hope it's
good morning.
Good to see you again.
Hope you're well. In New York. I'm great. It's good to see you. It's afternoon for me, but it's great to see my friend RRTNZ. And you know what? I got to say, with all the modern media that I'm forced to watch, a lot of it bad, I enjoyed catching my one episode or two episodes of Miami Vice a day. I never dreaded this assignment. You give the best homework. Red Dwarf was fun. Season 3 was fun. And this season was like a real education. I did a little Googling here and there while I was watching this, and we're just seeing some of the things that maybe affected the show. I noticed a couple of things, and I was right. So Sonny's on his third straight discontinued gun. He just can't get a sensible firearm. The thing that went through my mind this time is what police officer, even undercover, would ever be allowed to have such a flashy, bling, nickel-plated pistol? Like, Lieutenant Castillo would be Captain Castillo if he could get control of Crockett.
Yeah, there is. I think you still do have to suspend your belief a little bit because there is still this kind of romanticism to it as well because it's still a cop show, isn't it? And yeah, there's some episodes that do go a little bit out there. We've got like what
some episodes.
I know we got some.
He catches some consequences finally, though. When he messes up the paperwork, he gets some people killed. Is it by hook or by crook? There's one episode where Crockett's the lead investigator, and he shows he's not ready for it, and he blows basic paperwork, and he has to make an extra trip across town in by hook or by crook. And he gets suspended for being too lackadaisical. And I think everybody who watched the show is like, it's about time.
Yeah, and it's weird as well. You still find him charming despite his faults. I mean, it must be Don Johnson's charm that makes it work. And I think because he is a little bit more emotional, isn't he? While Tubbs seems to be a little bit more cooler and calmer, but occasionally they will swap roles. Like Tubbs will get a little bit vengeful, and Sonny Crockett has to be the one to reel him in. You know, and it seems like they still need each other.
The berserk button for Tubbs is he has something of a family, and sometimes that family gets menaced by serious organized crime figures, and then he'll become unethical and do whatever, and that's when Crockett suddenly gets a brain, a heart, and a conscience, and he slows him down. But for the most part, you're right. It's like the only reason Wildman Crockett, who's got his $400 Varney sunglasses on, but only has $600 in the bank, as we found out last week, needs to be told to calm down and stop being such a maniac. Yeah. and he has trigger discipline this year that makes the show better. When he finally turns around and they do have some gunfights, hey Trump Daddy, when he finally turns around and does have some gunfights, at least it has some weight to it. It's not like here we go again. Like he wouldn't be a fixture on page one of CNN. He wouldn't be a page one fixture across the nation on magazines like 77th person shot by maniac Miami cop.
It just makes me love this show more. It does. I don't know why. It just makes me love this show a lot more.
I love that part, but
the they're pretty high.
Cognizant. It's still pretty high, but they're cognizant. We don't have an episode where, say, we roll up in power boats and kill 11 or 12 people who fall into the water and just sort of walk around touching things and picking up evidence and throwing it around while we wisecrack. That's gone. When they do have a gunfight, it's kind of goes back to being the same, but I think in the one where Melanie Griffith kills Sulu, that is like an example of like, it's a little bit unbelievable, but it's like at least they only face the opponents in sequence and they're able to like sort of defend themselves more, and they're exercising discipline when they fire. They're showing them carefully aiming a little more. They sent the characters to a range. It's less unbelievable, but it's still out there. I agree.
Yeah, because I think my advice, you still need to have that little bit of fantasy. But Lord Toxic's mentioning something called the Florida Forfeit Act, which probably does explain why. And plus, he even says in season 4 when he meets Caitlin, when he's having his first meal with Caitlin, he says, "Listen, this all belongs to other criminals. These clothes I've worn, I have not worn clothes of my own since I started this job." So it does give some kind of explanation, doesn't it? So.
That is the truth. The Florida forfeiture law is an extension of what we call in America the RICO Act. The RICO Act just makes it illegal to conspire to be a gangster and makes what's called, quote, illegal ongoing criminal enterprises or organized crime, and they're like double felony kind of offenses where you're talking 25 years and there's no deals that you can make in the line of justice. So if you buy like a Testarossa from your ill-gotten gain, the state gets it and they can either auction it off or give it to a maniac cop, which is what Florida has chosen to do. By the way, have you noticed they know what police department is which in this season? There's a Miami-Dade Metro, which they are. There's a South Beach, and then there's a Miami PD.
Yeah. Most jurisdictions would have a similar piece of legislation, a Proceeds of Crime Act, which we've got here. So it's that whole philosophical underpinning of part of the law that you cannot profit from crimes. So that makes a lot of sense. Now I have to ask something, because I looked at a trivia video about Miami Vice just to prepare for this stream. And there's two things that came up. One, which Teague has just triggered, the sunglasses. Now, apparently, Crockett's other big brand, those are probably Barney's, but also Wayfarers. Apparently, Wayfarers tripled in unit sales by 1986, um, given how often he wore them. Now, does that sound correct to you? Does that sound like something that's reasonable?
It's correct, but there's two reasons. He's wearing them because in the reissued posters of James Dean, who was a nostalgia thing for this whole decade, he's wearing them. So if you notice, even his Varnays here are Wayfarer style, as it's called. But right. He puts on, I do not think he ever wears the classic Ray-Ban Wayfarers, which we see on Drinker, and you'll see on Admiral Teague once in a while, because I have a pair. They're great. They have green tinted glass lenses.
Yeah, I got a pair of Ray-Bans myself, and I managed to get them dead cheap from fucking Vinted. I mean, because Christ, man, they have very expensive sunglasses. They really are.
The ones with the green tinted lenses that are polarized cost the most. So they have dark lensed ones that just are regular sunglasses where you don't get the Ray-Ban effect. You want those green lenses. But Sonny here has a great pair of Italian Wayfarer style, but obviously European. He's ready to be playing bass in like a Duran Duran cover band right here. But
yeah, he does. He does.
He really is, and it would be a headless bass too. But yeah, well, I mean, he's playing a headless guitar or a keytar with this outfit. Hey, John, good to see you.
Hey, but yeah.
Oh, John.
Give a shout out to people in the chat as well. Yeah, Lord Toxic. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Trump Daddy. Yeah, shame they never had an episode of Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, that would have been one fucking hell of an episode. That it really would.
For my second,
could you imagine, right?
Second piece of trivia, and you can confirm or deny this from what you two have found in your research. Apparently, Johnson was known as Pilot Poison or Poison Pilot, whichever, not Pontius Pilate, that's somebody else. But he was known as Pilot Poison because he had five failed pilots, and apparently he was.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed. It's true.
Yeah, and the other front runner for the role of Sonny Crockett was Larry Wilcox, famous for Chips.
Oh shit, man!
I know that would have been a very different.
Yeah, I know Mark Hamill was almost going to take over after and all that.
Yeah, amazing. That. Can you imagine the show with Larry Wilcox instead, though? You're very different.
I can't. I think a lot of these episodes get by in the fact that Don Johnson's really handsome, has great presence. I mean, but Wilcox, I guess maybe he was. I can't imagine it because he was more of a cop presence that was more believable. Crockett is not as believable as a cop as he is kind of more a believable person who ended up being a cop. I don't know how to explain it. This season, he takes up the cause of being a guardian a little more.
The thing is, though, that really works for him in terms of his undercover work. In his undercover work, he comes across as this slightly unhinged, larger-than-life character. And he manages to sell all his different personas, really, really well. And I think that's something that I don't think Larry Wilcox could have pulled that off. I think that was something that Don Johnson.
Yeah, because I mean, Larry Wilcox, even back when he was young, I mean, he's not really as good looking as Don Johnson. And Don Johnson, you need a guy that is insanely good looking to pull that kind of character off because he's got this sort of way about him on screen. So it kind of makes sense as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, just the counterfactual. Somewhere there's a timeline out there. With a Miami Vice that looks very, very different.
Yeah, and it's like Lord Toxic said, I think Mark Hamill could have pulled that off as well because he was like this ultimate 80s heartthrob back in the day. Yeah, he really was.
I've always struggled with Mark Hamill. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of different shows, and I've always struggled to take him seriously. I'm not really a fan.
His brother-in-law was John DeLorean. Think about that for a second.
Wow. Well, maybe I should reevaluate my assessment of him then. John DeLorean. Gosh.
Yeah, of all people, his sister Kelly Harmon, who is the bad lady bitch in first episode of a show you might have heard of, not as grounded or as good a cop show as this actually, but with a great star called T.J. Hooker. Unfortunately, T.J. Hooker kept us from getting William Shatner as a bad guy on this show, but we do get Sulu this year, and I can't wait to talk about that.
I'm sorry. I think you've misspoken there. I think you mean T.J. Hooker, the greatest cop show of all time ever made anywhere by anyone. the edge.
It's got the hottest female cast, lead cast member, and the most charismatic, lead actor of all time. There's something about that Sergeant Hooker.
Even Adrian's Med is fantastic, and James Darren, of course, who goes on to appear in Deep Space Nine. I mean, how can
Adrian's
you go
Med from Never Say Never Again.
Yeah, and I mean, T.J. Hooker is such an amazing show that, of course, what's Dick Ritchie auditioning for in True Romance? T.J. Hooker.
Because nice guy Eddie.
Yeah, I don't know. He just came out of nowhere. Get him! Shoot him!
Is it Christopher?
You're a very fine actor, Mr. Ritchie. We'll call you.
Yeah, every time I get him, shoot him, I think of fucking Samurai Cop. Like, shoot him! Shoot him!
Whenever I hear a woman screaming, like, yelling at someone, I always think of that, with the casting room where he's sitting there, she's like, Dick Ritchie! Dick Ritchie! With this incredibly piercing voice, and he's like, what? Oh, on me! On me! Oh. Michael Rappaport back in his peak. Gosh, there was a diversion there, eh? True Romance from Miami Vice. Yeah, all right, sorry, you were saying T.
Oh yeah, before we go further, I will establish that the episodes do not have to be ranked in any order. If we mention one, you could then you get the chance to mention. Sorry, if you have one episode that you both have on at the same time, then you get to mention it all, and you get to tick it off the list. And 2-part episodes, 3-part episodes count as one episode. So if you got down for the count,
thank you.
Yes,
cool.
It counts as one episode.
Right, it's the same story.
Yeah, because it counts, doesn't it? I mean, honestly, it's part of the same. It's part of the same thing. It does not need to be separated at all.
I suspect today, unlike the first time we did this stream, there was a lot of crossover between people's favorite episodes. We had a couple more people on, but there's a lot of crossover. But I suspect today there will be less so. I mean, I've heard some of Teague's favorites, and mine are quite different. And I'm looking really forward to hearing yours, you bastard, to see what you've got. So, yeah, that's great. Roll on.
Yeah, we'll get started. Okay, so top to bottom, phrasing. I will start with my number 5. I think I will go for Lend Me Your Ear, which is not really a big complex episode. It's just a simple one where this paranoid drug dealer hires this surveillance expert played by John Glover to clear out all the bugs, and then John Glover decides, I'm going to play off both sides, but then he starts to realize he's in over his head when the drug dealer fucking kills someone right in front of him. And this is really John Glover's episode because he is really fucking playing up this role. I mean, he's really over the top, but he still comes across as a guy who kind of knows what he's doing, at least in the surveillance area. And I just love how he just uses the whole footage as well and interacts with the footage in front of him, like when he pretends to be a dead body and he comes up on screen saying, "Don't bother giving mouth to mouth." Then he sits up and starts laughing along with the fucking version of him on screen. It's a great guest. It's a great guest appearance. It's a fun episode. It's not too bleak. It's just fun with a really good guest star. And yeah, that's my top 5. Does anyone else have that in their top 5?
No.
No, sir. Did not have that one in my top 5, but I did enjoy and appreciate that one.
Yeah, because it's just one of those episodes where you just need to enjoy, don't you? There are better episodes. There are much better episodes, even though they are in my top 5. But I decided to pick that anyway.
I thought that one, if I remember correctly, compelling opening, sucks you right in. Then, of course, we've got this theme song that gets you up off the couch. What are you going to do when you hear those fake drums? It's just, like when that windsurfer dips his head in the water to cool off, I'm just like, I'm there. I'm in Miami. It's 1987. I'm ready to go. And I'm so ready for a cop show after some of these beginnings. So that one, it's like you said, it's a number 5 in a season of 22 episodes. Yeah, I could see why. And the thing is, it's the craftsmanship of the episodes and how well they know what they're doing, and the comfort that some of these creators have. Now they're going to be at odds with each other, but this seems to be all in the hands of one person. I couldn't tell if this was a Wolf episode or not. It's got signs of being maybe collaborative and then rewritten to be more grounded.
Yeah, Anthony Yakovich and Michael Duggan and Dick Wolf. So it probably is a bit more collaborative than.
Wolf's name's last on this one. I don't know if they move it around. Sometimes I've seen him like second. Thing is, Yernovich is a creator. Wolf is a new consult. Like he's an executive producer there to ground this show. It was the things we were talking about last season about again the high body counts, the hot pink suit on the tough guy, and other stuff like that. There is so much less of that, and there are now consequences. And I think that maybe a lot of the times Wolf just detached and let them do what they wanted to do, and sometimes we get these weird hybridized episodes. This one, it's hard to tell, like we were saying.
Yeah,
it's good though.
Yeah,
hey, Lenny Dykstra's house was used in this.
Yeah, I do have a soft spot for noirish neon lit visuals as well. And I've just noticed one thing about
neon.
The house is used as Guzman's house in Evan and as Palmer's house in Honor Amongst Thieves. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of these recycled settings where they have like these little tiny square windows in some areas as well, like the beginning of the one with Willie Nelson as well. I don't know if you've noticed that as well, because they do seem to be recycling a lot of bloody places. I think even the house in Out of the Shadow is recycled a shitload of times as well.
They've been to these places. They're like, we know exactly where to park our trucks, sir. We can just shoot in the other direction, sir. They'll never know it's the same house, sir. It's been 2 years. We know exactly how to film in this location. That's what's going on. They're getting comfortable. The quality of the episodes has gone up, but you're right about the locations. They're like, we know this location. We'll just go back there and make it look different.
Yeah, I know.
They recycled some surnames too.
Yeah, I've noticed a few times they recycled some shots of Sonny Crockett driving to the fucking police station. It's like, wait a minute, I saw that shot earlier in another episode, and there's an episode in season 4 as well where, yeah.
Look at that trivia. There's a song by Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's the one John Glover's dancing to. It's Express Yourself, which was actually a cover by a blues singer who I forgot the name of, to be honest.
I think I know which Respect Yourself he's talking about.
Respect Yourself, yeah, sorry. Respect Yourself, that's it.
You know,
you wonder why John Glover didn't have a bigger career.
No, John Glover is fun. This is why I picked it, because he is so fucking fun. He's always fun. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a bad performance with John Glover. Even in Batman and fucking Robin, he's fun to watch.
Do you think, though, that he's one of those essential... When I saw Heads of State, the John Cena, Idris Elba, I wanted to watch it. It was quite funny. Not a great film, but, pass the time. But Stephen Root, who is my all-time favorite character actor, was in it. At 73, he's still pulling off his characters. I don't know if Stephen Root appears in... I don't know if he appears in Miami Vice at all. Maybe one of the few big franchises he missed out on, but because he was in Ghost around that time.
Yeah,
where was I going? Sorry.
Yeah, Stephen Root. I'm starting to wonder if he might be in. Was he the guy in Tomorrow Never Dies as well? Who was like, I am an expert in forensics and I'm good at shooting people. Yeah, him.
No, Stephen Root. If you ever
Stephen Root is Cotton Hill, isn't he?
Stephen Root.
Or do they have the same name?
Did you ever see the television programs News Radio, the one with Phil Hartman?
Oh,
he was
Jimmy James,
the owner. Jimmy James, yeah.
That's
okay. He is a Mike Judge actor. He's in all the Mike Judge movies.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah, I got him now. Yeah.
He is Cotton Hill's voice.
He's in tons of things. He played a Klingon captain in the episode Unification.
Yeah, he's good. He's always good in Stephen Root. He's
a voice guy.
Well, he does
a great voice.
A ton of on-screen roles, and he's different in everything. He's fantastic. I mean, he's in Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, I know he gets the fucking knife to his balls.
That's right. Yeah. But speaking of character, I guess I was going there because of character actors, right? And John Glover, I wonder whether the way his career went was a decision that he made, or whether it was just circumstance. Because you get so many terrific character actors. I mean, God, I saw an episode of The Equalizer, right, 1985 the other day, just because it was on, and Patrick Kilpatrick, who's in everything as well, usually as a thug, was in it. And it's amazing to think these character actors who have been in so many of the things you've enjoyed. And I wonder, like John Glover, how many of these guys populated the background of Miami Vice as well.
Now, is that the Queen Latifah Equalizer or the one for old?
No, that's the Edward Woodward Equalizer.
Oh, the only Equalizer.
Not the brilliant Queen Latifah version, then. God, that's
Don't call me during the Equalizer, right? Don't call me during the Equalizer.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, that's a good reference. I liked the Denzel films because at least he took precautions to protect his identity.
Yes.
We shouldn't talk about the Queen. We shan't talk about the Queen Latifah one because it'll fall apart quickly.
I was glad that grew into a trilogy with Denzel, and it just sort of happened. But I think the director is overrated. He has a very flat TV-like style, so the Equalizer was perfect for him. And that second Equalizer was better than the first, with Javier Bardem as like the bad cop doing like the Boston accent on and off.
Pascal.
Is it Pedro? All right, so the movie levels down a little bit for me. Yeah. But
well, this was before he was in fucking everything and he started doing the gay shit. So
I thought maybe is Javier in 2? In the first one, perhaps? Then is that what it is?
No, it's Martin Short.
Pedro,
the New Zealander, the New Zealand actor Martin Short, who was Celeborn in Lord of the Rings. Galadriel. He's the main villain in that one, the Russian gangster. He does tons of Eastern European roles, Martin Short.
That's my damage there. I thought Javier Bardem did Celeborn.
But anyway, that's my number 5. Yeah, we're going on.
Oh, sorry.
Tangent here a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, we want to get on to your number 5s as well. So RTNZ, your number 5.
All right, my number 5, because I can sum mine up quite briefly. So my number 5, when Luke, I got to tell you listeners that when Luke sold this season to us, he was very much, it's very grounded. It's much more serious and grounded. Sorry, Luke, that was my terrible impression of your actor. Anyway, and I thought to myself, well, I better choose an episode that is outlandish in some way. I've got to pick a couple that are just a little bit too ridiculous to even talk about. So I'll pick them. So my number 5 is Viking Bikers from Hell.
Yeah, I'm just looking for it now. Where are you? Right at the bottom.
Just nonsense, right? I mean, it's got almost no story other than biker guy gets out of prison, goes on a bit of a rampage, and who better to go on a rampage with than Sonny Landham, who's one of the other biking. I think even the other guy who's not really much of an actor is a powerlifter. So it's got steroid muscle running around, being violent, blowing stuff up.
Yeah, and Kim Coates isn't it as well? Kim Coates, fucking hell.
Yep. Kim Coates makes a brief appearance. Kim Coates has been around a long time. Kim Coates.
What's his name? John Musterzak, the laughing guy from fucking Day of the Dead. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's the third biker, Musterzak, I think.
Is it Matusik?
So, I mean, that's probably better pronunciation of his name. But as soon as I saw Sonny Landham on the screen, I thought, right, I got to pick this one because
John Milius wrote it.
Well, yeah. It's got very much a John Milius. Well, you got to think this is not long after Conan the Barbarian, right? So, the cocaine was probably still flowing through John Milius's life, and I just enjoyed this one because it's kind of goofy.
Yeah, it knows it, doesn't it?
Weird.
It knows it's fucking goofy. I mean, it's not
the
most quality episode, but I get why people might just want to switch off and have fun with it. And
oh god, yeah,
I like the visuals with the fire. I do like the visuals where they got the bikes with the fire. There's something real cool about it as well. And Sonny Landham does have a good quote as well. It's like Valhalla. I've always wanted to go to Europe.
Oh yeah, and they eat pizza. They're big pizza fans of the Viking Bikers from Hell. And they're all going to die. They're not going to make it. And they have this weird sort of biker code. And it's like Sons of Anarchy 1995 or 1986. So I don't know. I just find this ridiculous. That was Brian Bosworth, eh? There's a ridiculous charm to the episode, and that's why I picked it, because I figured no one else would. And I thought it deserved a little bit of attention. So that's my number 5, Viking Bikers from Hell.
Okay, nice one. Anyone else got Viking Bikers from Matt? Sorry. Viking Bikers from
I
Hell.
Want to say Mars too.
Mars. Jesus Christ.
I want to say Mars as well.
Viking Bikers from Mars. We should fucking get on that, though. We should get on
that. We should start a band with that name. Come on, who wouldn't go see it and buy the T-shirt? Black Sabbath breaks up today. Some Viking Bikers from Hell must be born. You know what? This was a fun episode. I didn't have it on my list, though. I enjoyed it. I guess John Milius had just watched the show and been like, I know what these people want, and just dialed up a crazy cop show. He's like, because he's the Dirty Harry guy. He could write dark, gritty, believable, and great, but he was just like, all right, these are a bunch of crazy cops in like unprofessional police department. I'm just going to write up this wacky story like I would if I was writing Kojak or Beretta. And he does. And it's good because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a good old blast them up, don't you?
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
It's like when your favorite band that's very serious does a cover by a not so serious artist to show you that they could have fun and also replicate someone else's music. It needed to be shown that they could still be a cop show in a traditional vein, because they are doing a ton of experimenting.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor, that.
And it's still not as fucking what the fuck did I just watch, like the fucking alien fucking invasion episode, the one where Trudy starts seeing aliens or thinks she's seeing aliens. I was like, what the fuck is that episode all about? Yeah,
Trudy was in the evidence locker before the beginning of the episode. That part gets cut. Then that's when she sees the aliens.
I know, then you get that weird visual where James Brown shows up saying, I feel good. I would. What the hell, man? But yeah, we're going to have to do a stream on the worst Miami Vice episodes one day. And we don't need to do it by season. We can just pick like maybe 5 or 10, and that's about it. But from all any season combined, to be honest. But we'll save that for another stream. So yeah. Viking Bikers from Hell, and sadly not Mars, because that would have been even more awesome. So yeah, so Teague, your number 5.
My number 5 is going to have everyone have a nice, good laugh, because it's possibly an episode that either demonstrates them finding out there's a limit to how dark they can go within what TV accepts at the time, or just some kind of strange experiment that didn't work. But my number 5 was LOL failure of an episode, The Good Collar, about 40-year-old drug-dealing high school students. It's a real problem, people. The American education system truly failed these men. They're not children, they're not students, they're men.
Oh, there it is. Yes. Willow Diamond Phillips and Viggo Mortensen as well. And yeah, this is the one where Tubbs pretends, I want my pay. I don't want to be a cop no more. When I'm old, I'm gonna hate my profession so I can go undercover, deep undercover, man.
And I'm sorry, what's his name is back. Scroll up again. I just saw his name. Charles S. Dutton is back as a different character. He was the angry NYPD lieutenant who didn't want to deal with them last season. And this season, he's like that fatherly figure who's trying to rehabilitate a couple of the kids who are doing this is a 21 Jump Street episode, but they can't get young enough actors. Everyone's 30. But the idea is these young kids are dealing drugs in high school and becoming like pimp daddies and stuff, and like way too young an age for anyone to handle the kind of fame and money that they're getting. And Charles S. Dutton is sort of like a fatherly figure trying to rehabilitate a couple of them without getting them into trouble. And this is, again, good guardianship of their, like, they care more. Yeah, these are the high school students. They care more about their community.
Sorry about that. Yeah, this is where he becomes friends with the like you said, the high school student who's going to be a football player one day, you know. But this is
the one I was talking about. It's The Good Collar. Yeah. This is my number 5. it's a special victims unit test case because they have these young. So here's like actual like ninth graders, right? But like our principal actors are all like well into their 20s and 30s. It's a little laughable. The storyline is good. It shows their potential, but it's kind of like Star Trek Voyager with Mr. Tuvix. Like they hit a dramatic ceiling and they become aware that like we can't be too serious within the limitations of this particular kind of crime. And they fine tune and hit it again with a different type of episode that was equally dark. But this one didn't work. But I did like Don Johnson's performance. Like you said, he's so likable. Yeah. Him there regarding that football. They try to turn this kid's life around. This kid's messed up in drugs. Yeah, he's 35 years old, but whatever. This kid, this 17-year-old, 35-year-old man who's been, he's getting ready for Social Security, but he's going to be a Penn State college football player, and it looks like Mr. Mayweather from Enterprise a little bit, but he's going to be a high school football player, and he's a college football player. He's got a future ahead of him. Sonny understands this because Vietnam interrupted his high school football career. He might have been able to be a pro. And as he helps the kid out, he's like, you got to help me to help you, the old cop line. He does like deliver on all of his promises to help the kid, but like the criminals just outsmart Sonny. Sonny's not as tough as he thinks he could be. It's the New Jack City outcome. His CI gets wasted, and that football was something he gave him as a token of affection. He's like, I want to thank you for doing the right thing. He's like, what's this? It's like, I got this as a team ball at the Rose Bowl with my high school all-star game. I was all state. And he's like, thanks, Sonny, you're all right. And he's like, you're going to be okay, kid. And then the tragedy happens, and the family gives the football back to him, and they're like, you bastard, you couldn't help him. And he's like, I am a rat bastard, but I had to do it for justice because I care about my town. And I thought that as flawed as this episode was, it showed great traits. And it would have been better for us if he hadn't have been wearing a lavender mariachi jacket while he's being tough. But it was still a good episode.
Yeah, and you can sort of see it really fucking affects him as well when the kid dies. He just fucking hits that ceiling. He's like, ah!
And that the family hates and blames him, that he can't go put his arms around the mother and be like, I did everything I could. She's just like, you used my son and sent it to his death. He's like, that's not how it went down. Like, but he doesn't say it. He just takes it. And he walks away and he just looks at that football, and Don Johnson in that silent moment, looking at that football and then starting to walk back down that hot, empty Miami street. He has, like you said, that beautiful, charismatic, thing is happening. And also, instead of whining about his car or chasing chicks, he's just put it all on the line because he cares about his town and the future and the kids and just every good cop quality in an episode that has a lot of laughable parts. So I thought that this one was a good number 5 because it shows the bipolar nature of the season and how it's changing for the better. But this is a growing pain. But on paper, this is a great plot.
It's a bit of a trope. It becomes a bit of a trope, though, does it not?
They get fucking innocent people killed.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say, Luke, is that the person who's going to be their star witness or their insider or the good kid who's made a mistake or whatever, that vulnerable character is going to die. And you can see it coming,
It's like Pete Diddy saw the episode, right?
Well, hey, acquitted of most charges. It's gonna say
a witness just disappeared.
Yeah, not only that, you always get the fucking bureaucratic fucking FBI agent, DEA agent, or whatever interrupting, mucking things up, and making fucking Sonny look like the arsehole for whatever happens. It's once again, it's another trope, and it gets repeated a lot in Miami Vice. But sometimes, I can't. That's another reason why I love this show, because it doesn't fuck about in showing that, no matter how fucking hard they try to do the right thing, someone who doesn't deserve to die is gonna fucking die. It's it's a shit world that we're living in.
Not all bullets get dodged. I loved that about this, and Sonny is feeling the pain of caring enough. He's no longer selfish loser Sonny like he was last year. He's feeling pain because he cared so much. He put everything on the line. He jeopardized his career. He's pulling in favors for this kid. He wants this kid to get out of the neighborhood and have a better life. And it just doesn't work out. And he's the villain of it to everybody's eyes. And he has to live with that because that's what comes with carrying that badge and that recalled weapon he carries with him.
I know it was smart. It was smart of him not to try and justify himself to the parents. I mean, because they're grieving. No matter what he says, he's going to make it fucking worse anyway. Even if he is totally not to blame for it,
On this episode, it seems like he does this every day and he understands the pain. He did it because he was the bigger man, and there was a 1 in 100 shot. They'd say, we understand Detective Crockett, and this makes us feel better. But he knew he was probably going to lose when he did that, and he did it anyway. Yeah, he was just his like sense of responsibility. Like he's like, I care about Miami. It's bigger than me.
So yeah, that is a good episode. It's not in my top 5. But it is a good episode, and I probably will do a proper stream where we go through the episodes, but I don't know if it might take a fucking long time to go through, so we'll see what happens sometime in the future, because I'm always looking for new ideas for more streams. So yes, that's the number 5, so we'll move on to number 4, and I think, RT, you mentioned you have this one as well, and that is When Irish Eyes Cry, and that's where a former IRS...
Yeah, When Irish Eyes Are Crying. Yep.
Yes, When Irish Eyes Are Crying, yes. A former IRA soldier played by Liam Neeson, who's vowed to fight for the cause peacefully, is threatened at his meeting. Gina, who was there, guns down the terrorist, and he decides, well, she gunned down this guy and she's hot, so I'm going to try and lay my fucking Irish charm on her. And then we get the Sonny Crockett and Tubbs go to try and find out who the guy was connected to, and it's Jeff Fahey, who then blows up his fucking car, and it turns out not only is Liam Neeson a fucking liar, and he's still kind of he's still fighting for the cause, and Gina's really conflicted because she loves him so much, and she may have to kill him, and you get the arsehole from Breakfast Club on there as well, and it's a pretty good start to the episode. Yeah, the Gina storyline kind of just shows that Gina really is being a bit of a schoolgirl there, but hey, it's 1980s Liam Neeson, and Jesus Christ, fuck it. Liam Neeson today probably will still charm the fucking pants off her. But
remember, Gina can relate strongly because in Cuba it's the same situation, and she's Cuban.
Yeah, and plus there was a lot of socialism shit going on with Fidel Castro as well, wasn't there? So
right, yes.
Yeah, but not only that, it's the episode where they finally get rid of that fake fucking Ferrari, and I think I mentioned it already in the green room, but I'll mention it right now. I just love the exchange where they meet Jeff Fahey, and they started to argue whether the Stingers are legitimate because they came out in 1980. They were manufactured in 1980. And what does Jeff Fahey do? He proves how legitimate they are by blowing his fucking car up. And the look on Sonny Crockett's face is just amazing. The sort of double take. He looks back at his car. He looks back at the rocket. He looks back at his car again. It's brilliant. He's like, is he? He better not be doing what I fucking think he's doing. Nope, he did it. He blew my fucking car up. The bastard. Brilliant.
Now, there's the real world reason for this? In that trivia I looked up, apparently in the first couple of seasons they don't use a real Ferrari. They use sort of
it's a fake one. It's like
built on top of a Ford chassis, and Ferrari was going to sue them for IP infringement, and eventually they settled, and Ferrari provided models for the show to use. Perhaps is this sort of them working that into the real world agreement they came to, whatever it was, being worked into the show? Is that the reason for this scene, or are they just the writers having some fun?
Yeah, I think that might be. I think, to be honest, I think that's the reason why I think that was to give them a reason to get rid of this and get the real Ferrari in. I would not be surprised if that was the case. But you know what? I've got the IMDb up. Let's look in the trivia. It's got to be. Let's hope there's not a shitload here. But I think
if I had to guess, I'm going to say that Mr. Ferrari said, like, I want my defamation money. And they're like, our thing of value that we can give you with no cost to ourselves is basically an in-show commercial.
Yeah, promotion. Free advertising, right?
And then what you said about the writers having fun, why not have fun with that? We're going to blow up a Ferrari, right? Yeah. It's fake, but whatever. We're going to have fun with this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I think Toxic might have put it up earlier. So yeah, Michael Mann told Jay Leno on Jay Leno's Garage that Enzo Ferrari had watched the series and was dismayed that it featured a fake Ferrari Daytona. It was widely known, thanks to press reports at the time, that it was a Corvette with a fiberglass replica Daytona body. Ferrari asked the man what he could do to replace the fake car. Man replied, "You could send us a couple of Testarossas. I'll even blow up the Daytona." Enzo Ferrari sent the Testarossas, and in this episode, the Daytona was blown up. So yeah, there's so not only that, it probably probably mended a few bridges with Ferrari himself. So yeah,
Mr. Ferrari, would you care to fly over and blow up the car yourself? Yes, it would be a lot of fun.
I know it's. And once again, it's not really the best episode, but I do like the facts. Like, it's got this cliched storyline where Gina has to kill the guy she loves, and is like, please don't make me kill you. Like, it's not your war, Gina. It's not your war.
That's why I picked it, because it's just like Viking Bikers from Hell is ridiculous, and this one in its own way is as ridiculous. I mean, the convenience of Gina just happening to be there when the terrorist comes to the meeting to off Liam Neeson with an Uzi. I think he had an Uzi with him.
Look at trivia. Look at trivia item number 2. They were going to go film the Irish Eyes Are Crying as a 2-parter in Ireland, but Don Johnson was unavailable because he was a commitment to tour for his album Heartbeat. Remember, I told you we were going to have looking for a heartbeat. But Don, what were you thinking? You only dress like Simon Le Bon. But that would have been a pretty epic 2-parter. But again, I think it was kind of important to remember the first person to blow away anybody in this episode, and they kill too, is Gina.
Yeah,
and she doesn't fucking hold back because she doesn't really shoot him until Sonny Crockett shows up and Liam Neeson is about to shoot Crockett. So it goes to show just how loyal she is.
Over hose.
Yeah, that shows her fucking loyalty as well. She's willing to save her friends to kill the guy she loves.
I wonder if Crockett would hesitate for a little bit and let Gina take a couple of bullets before he would shoot someone like Teresa. If Teresa was like, if Gina's between Teresa and the heroine, he might just hesitate.
But just
he has the worst judgment in women. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, he knows how to fucking pick them. I mean,
please just remarry your ex.
She was at least nice. The bad guy. It's such a cliche, because the moment the moment she shows up and kills that terrorist at the meeting, the rally, that she's going to end up having to kill Liam Neeson.
All you really have to do to clean up all the prostitution in Miami is just set Crockett loose, free range with an ankle bracelet and follow him around. It's like, all right, he's been in this hotel for 2 hours now. He's fallen in love with another prostitute. He's like, guys, you can't arrest her. I love her. It's like, Crockett, this is the 3rd time this week. Just calm down. You're gonna, you're a vice detective.
Well, that shirt he's wearing as well is he's really letting that thing open, isn't he?
His sleeveless shirts had me laughing.
And he's a stranger to the gym. When we have love scenes where we have 2 people laying in bed on their stomachs, as the camera pans up their backs, I'm like, which one is Crockett and which one is Melanie Griffith? It's like he's so thin and effeminate.
Yeah, no, I was wondering that. Jesus Christ.
Pipe cleaner armed tough guy. He's going to beat up 7-foot-tall Liam Neeson. And I would just point out that if Liam Neeson's character had not been so radical, he would be on the council by now.
Yeah, no, and you want him to. You actually do want to believe that he has turned his life around as well, because he does come across very likable and very charming. But no, he's still fighting for the cause, and he has to die.
Well, I guess
they were still collecting money for that cause in New York and all over America at the time this episode was made. I'm glad that things retroactively bailed out everybody and it wasn't, as bad as it was at the time. But yeah, this was a relatable story to Americans because a lot of Americans are Irish and were staked into that conflict.
Yeah, no, it's
they got the SAS wrong
one as well. It was
They really, I guess whoever did the research got SAS a little bit wrong, because that guy's the least convincing SAS operative I've ever seen in anything.
Yeah. Not only that, this episode was also sort of highlighting, we're going to go a bit more darker now. We aren't just fucking around with the pastel colors now. We're showing that we're really stepping things up a notch as well, because Sonny's in a bit more of a darker mood after the last episode as well with Tubbs. So he's gotten a bit more. He's wearing the darker colors. His hair's a bit more cropped now, and he does
and
look.
No jacket guns, no jacket guns at all this season. Just their pistols.
I think Tubbs only really gets the gun out in one episode of this season. The shotgun anyway, the little tiny shotgun.
And I think they're going in ready for that one. They don't grow the guns out of their jackets anymore. I think someone put their foot down about it, though, just like it's ridiculous. And it was.
But God, doesn't 1980s Miami look fucking beautiful as well? I mean, because that's what I love about this show as well, a little bit as well. It feels like you're going on a quick little holiday while also trying to avoid getting shot by some fucking scumbags. I like it.
It's the largest divide between rich and poor of any city on the East Coast. It's like kind of Florida is a little bit like a mixed bag. At this point, this city is on the come, and their skyline is a little more impressive this season than it was last season. A few buildings got finished, and they took a few new angles, and you can see the skyline building up behind them. And in this episode, we don't go and get told by people in New York, we run you, shut up and get out of here. And listen, in this episode, sort of Miami's kind of trying to establish we're going to get control of the organized crime guys down here. They're not going to run wild. Like New York's going to do New York's thing, and we're Miami now. And I liked that. Like they're secure in their identity. And Miami's now big enough for the IRA to come there looking for money.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how this is the 1980s and Miami was still kind of developing. I did not know that until you mentioned it.
It was only until the affordability of the of air conditioning that it was even considered all that habitable. Like Central Florida, I lived there for a couple of years, and I used to smoke cigarettes. In America, there's cellophane on the outside of your cigarette pack. I peeled the cellophane off and dropped it on my front porch thoughtlessly, which is probably wrong and littering. The thing is, I lived in that house for a year, and it never blew away. There's not a puff of wind in Central Florida. It is so hot. And in Miami, it at least rains once a day, and you get a couple of hours break. But drinking a couple of stiff drinks in the middle of the afternoon to get through the end of the day is kind of essential in Florida. It's hot. It's hot.
Hey, if it means more fucking drinking, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
Was this episode?
Hello, Summer. Hello, Melvin. How you doing, you two?
Hey, Melvin. Good to see you, my friend. You know what?
Was this episode before or after? Sorry, just quickly. Was it before or after the Breakfast Club? Because Paul Gleason's in this episode, and
this might have been during the same year. I think that's
just about a tie.
85 is the Breakfast Club. 85.
So this is after. This is 87.
Yeah. When he's on the screen, all I can hear is, "You mess with a bull, young man, you get the horns."
It was good. Always good. Always good for playing arseholes. I mean, every time he played an arsehole on screen, you just love him. Even in trading places where he's just telling someone to fuck off or wants to use the phone. That still cracks me up. I mean, he's just using the phone. That person standing there, he gets off the phone, looks at the person and goes, "Fuck off." Goes back on the phone. Brilliant.
Yeah. The character actors we were talking about earlier. That's a great example.
Yeah, and so this is on your top 5 as well. This is your number 4. So
my number 4, and you've covered it brilliantly. I don't think we need to say anything more about it. You've covered it really well.
So we'll move on to Admiral Teague. Is this on your list, or if not, what's your number 4?
I stayed away from Irish Eyes or Crying because it was just a little. It was a little much. I liked it a lot, but my number 4 is one that was probably rated higher by other people, but I found it to be an interesting but criminally misused cast episode. By hook or by crook is my number 4.
Yeah, the one with Melanie Griffin.
And Vanity. I would like to point out that...
Christ, yeah.
That Ali, the prostitute Ali, who is choked out and killed later, is played by Vanity, a member of Princess Malou. If you've read The Heroin Diaries by Nikki Sixx, and I have, at this point in her life, she was speedballing heroin and cocaine all day and lying around in bed naked with the guy from Motley Crue in a non-exclusive sexual, more drugs kind of relationship. And so, like, knowing that she's visibly whacked out of her mind had me in stitches. And there's Captain Lou Albano, professional wrestler, on the left with the rubber bands on his face. He's in every Cyndi Lauper video. I believe he might be from Queens or Long Island, but he has a lot of presence. He deletes a couple of people. And also, the woman who gives them the lead is Veronica Cartwright. If the name sounds familiar, Penny Robinson from Lost in Space. So we have Star Trek and Lost in Space actors in this, between Andrea Cartwright and Veronica Cartwright. There she is. I'm sorry. And what do you call it? The other one being Sulu.
Yeah. You got. Yeah. I'm very disappointed he didn't go.
Oh my.
But he does make a very good slammy sort of like very cool, calm, collected sleazebagger as well. And he's not very he's very debonair as well. He's very charming. He's very well he's much more conservative, and he definitely does what's the fucking word? Convey himself to everyone but very well. And Melanie Griffin back in the day, man, she was an absolute stunner back then. She was fucked her looks up later on.
She was so much more sexy than she was conventionally good looking. It was just the voice, the milieu, right? The way she acted. Because this is 90s Melanie. This is what Antonio Banderas goes home to.
Yeah, this is they've definitely not updated that picture for good reason.
Her movie that year was Cherry 2000. And Working Girl a little bit later. But this one's got an all-star cast. Again, like I said, Sulu. Sulu was criminally underused. He basically plays the Ricardo Montalban role from Police Squad in this. He's got his fish tank. He's got his evil plan. There's speedball junkie Vanity. God knows Melanie Griffith must have had to try to hold it together to be on this set. And let's remember, she is second-generation Hollywood royalty because her mother is in the movie The Birds.
Tippi Hedren from Marnie, isn't it?
Not to be confused with Topper Hedren from the Clash, but yeah, Tippi Hedren is in that. And here's Vanity. She's out of her mind on drugs, but she gives a good performance in a minimalistic role. And again, I thought it was interesting that we had Penny Robinson from Lost in Space and Sulu in the same episode. And there it is. Discontinued gun number 2. They just can't get it right. But he's wearing a gray jacket, which shows you that this was more of a Dick Wolf influenced episode than the other ones. And I think sometimes he even has a collared shirt, and there's no more sleevelessness. And yeah, I missed if she picked up this gun or if she was the one who just pulled it out, because in Florida she could just be packing. But as you can see, she looks a lot different there than she did in the picture we saw in IMDb. And there's Sonny running and gunning as you would expect. And we had a pretty good gunfight there, and they would have been overwhelmed. There's a moment of unbelievability. But the old, it was the Blade Runner thing. Like, he thinks he's going to get it. We hear a bang, the guy falls dead, and she's there with the gun. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
this was the scene where I didn't know whose back was whose. It's like, Sonny is pretty feminine. I don't want to enjoy this scene until I know who's who.
Yeah, no, it's you don't want to question your own sexuality. But then again, it's 1980s Don Johnson, so I don't know. It's okay to be a little.
He's pretty enough. It wouldn't make us gay, right? And you know what? Think about it. They're produced.
I should have.
They're producing Dakota. This episode is exactly old enough for them to be producing Dakota Johnson as they're doing it. It's like. Some of those love scenes was like, guys, can you leave for a while so me and the wife can finish things off and we can do the rest of the scene? I mean, it's getting pretty steamy.
Yeah, because she was with him back at the time as well. And
this is the second time around for them. They were married previously.
Yeah, and he was fucking with her when she was like underage as well, and he was in his 20s. I mean, apparently it said that they didn't do anything until she did turn the legal age of consent, but I don't know.
Yeah, Elvis did it too. It was a different time. It's gross to us, and we wouldn't. But Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis thought it was fine. So who are we? Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Roman Polanski.
Yeah, I mean, let's just step back from that one and say it was a different time.
Yeah,
what would we know?
Yeah,
we have the luxury of that being well before our dating lives, so we don't understand it, but it's just part of TV.
Plus, I've not really seen Don Johnson do anything since after Melanie Griffith so far, so I don't know. I'm not going to go.
He had another TV show where he basically played the same character. He has shown up as the and he's shown up here and there as and if you want to have a good laugh, Google his co-star Yasmine Bleeth now, and you marry Yasmine Bleeth and you go home to that. Whoa! Well, Bridget Fonda is hot these days by comparison. She really just never missed like a party. She looked terrible, but I thought Sulu was great in this. George Takei's fantastic voice, making the most of these somewhat corny lines. And, we had the Mission Impossible fish tanks get shot up thing going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of fishes died for them. The fucking vegans will not be happy.
It was a real shame. I was hoping Crockett would, throw a fish at one of his opponents to, disorient him and then fire at him.
Yeah, I mean, it could have had a good mutant fish in there just to throw at him, and the guy goes, while trying to get the fish off his face, but nah, disappointed.
Do they show her pick up a pistol, or does she just pull out her own gun and blow the guy away? Because you can carry in Florida.
I missed that when I was doing the rewatch, but I don't remember.
It wouldn't have been illegal for her to simply pull out a gun and kill someone. She was fine. She's in that state. She's fine.
Plus, do you think she got let off a little bit too easily as well, her character? Because she was.
We got looks-based sentencing, right?
Yeah, she was pretty compliant with fucking what was happening. She really was.
I wasn't a hooker. I just sent women into human slavery and had people maybe kind of kill them and got a few people blown up and stole police records and compromised an investigation and got a cop killed. I'm not bad. Lady, you're trouble. Good luck. It's what the fuck? She belongs in prison.
I know, right? John Glover's character in fucking Lend Me Your Ear was obstructing fucking police a police investigation that pretty much got people killed as well, and he fucking got shit canned for it. He didn't get arrested, but
consequences are coming into the situation, but sometimes, especially Crockett is immune. Although the things that happen in this, they do take pains. This is so ungrounded, this episode, but at the end, they take pains in a bunch of grounded moments to explain, well, I can't stay in America no more. Hey, thanks for getting those charges thrown out. And in Florida, with the Castle Doctrine and other stuff, her ability to pull that gun out of her purse and blow the guy away, or if she picked up a gun off the floor, she probably wouldn't be in as much trouble as she would in a lot of other U.S. states, because it's got a lot of open carry sort of enablement. And that one stray rubber band on Captain Lou bothered me through this whole thing. What did he safety pin it to his face?
I know.
I'm used to the one in the beard.
Yeah, there was even a scene where he's chasing Vanity after they kill the guy at the beginning, and
yes,
he's struggling to fucking try and force the elevator door open.
He ran into the one elevator in America that doesn't pop back open when you stick your hands in it. Good thing for him it didn't cut his hands off, right? It was what the hell? I couldn't pull the elevator door open. I do that on a regular basis.
He couldn't just taken the fucking stairs, could he? I mean,
or had her make a better escape. I don't know why they felt the need to do something that didn't pass casual scrutiny. I think that's what did this. This was an early episode, and I think we mentioned this before. I forget what episode it is, but episode 1 of this season, we have a sequence that can't be real, where Trudy sings and dances down the street and does a number, and the people on the street, the homeless people, the criminals, the other cops, they sort of sing and dance with her, and then all of a sudden it stops, and it stops, and she makes grounded, normal communications. Stephen Bochco from Hill Street Blues, who also later does Cop Rock, probably got out over his skis. And I'm imagining this was a troubled writing room. I think there was probably a lot of episodes where people just hands off, walked away, and then came back and just were able to put a few reshoots in. Because that tacked on scene where he lets her off the hook seems like it was damage control for an episode where we had a murderess who got a lot of other people murdered, who got a couple of buildings kaboom-boomed, who was, enabling like an ongoing organized crime, which mandates 25 years in jail, no matter what state you're in. And, like penny ante, non-officer level detective, by which I mean he's not a lieutenant. He's not Lieutenant Castillo. He's going to make this go away. This is FBI shit. Sex trafficking, and P. Diddy is going to jail for 5 years for some of the same stuff she did all the time.
Acquitted of some charges.
Yeah, well, he got acquitted for the ongoing criminal enterprise, which is hard to believe because he kept doing the same thing over and over. But when a key witness disappears, right? But this episode, again, it had the most unhinged gunfight of the season. How that guy couldn't hit anyone with that machine gun for so long was out of control.
Yeah, it's a good thing bad guys can't shoot straight.
That's a bit of a trope in this. I mean, there's so many times that the bad guys have got, high rate of fire weapons and don't manage to hit anyone. The stormtrooper marksmanship.
Yeah, and they're always using fucking Uzis, which are not very accurate machine guns either.
Oh, wow. Look at trivia point number 2. Yeah, they made sure to give him an accurate Uzi, but trivia point 2, Christine von Marburg, named for Dick Wolf's then wife, Christine Marburg, to whom he was married from 83 to 05 and had 3 children with. There you go. See, Dick Wolf is putting his signature on it. All right, so it looks like maybe this was a Wolf episode that got pulled in some strange directions by the other people who were, as we found out, affiliated with shows more like Fantasy Island, which explains why last year Magic was just considered to work.
Yeah. And yet fucking Lou Albano and Alfred Anoa, who played Togoro's henchmen, were professional wrestlers in real life. Both are WWE Hall of Famers, and the latter is a member of the famed Anoa'i wrestling family, which also includes Dwayne Johnson, so it's related to The Rock.
Our president is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame, so way to go. And is Alpha Anoye also in Lost Boys? Is he the muscle-bound sax player? Because it looks like him.
No, that's
right? Yeah, tell me it didn't look like him. Same image, too.
That guy's I can't remember his name. I've Googled him a few times.
He can play the sax, man.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't really like his band that much, but he could play the sax. Yes, Veronica Cartwright was in Alien, and she's in Lost in Space.
Yeah, and apparently her character is transsexual as well, which you never know until you look closely at one of the.
Is she the butchy one who's like, "Hey, you get any pussy on Mars? Did you?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's an extended, isn't that a director's cut of Aliens only, though? It's only considered the extended boardroom.
Right.
Lambert.
Her death is epic, though. Yeah. They are so cool. Her and the lieutenant who she hates. And then we find out it's just like up the chain griping, like from Saving Private Ryan.
No, not
I got the wrong person. Sorry.
You're thinking of Jeanette Goldstein, the Jewish actress who plays.
You're thinking of the second one, aren't you? Where
I'm thinking the second one.
She has very short blonde hair. Short blonde hair. Lambert. She whines. She complains a lot, and
is she the roommate? Yes. Okay. I know.
Yeah.
But as we can see, like the show is at odds with itself, with episodes now that are deeply different, and they're going to get more different as we go along, I think.
So is there anything else you want to establish on your number 4 pick?
I wish Melanie Griffith had worn more figure form-fitting clothes rather than the pillow sacks they put her in over and over and over in the clothes of the time, which were just loose-fitting taffeta jumpsuits and other dumb stuff. So we had a chance to have this woman look hot, and instead we just dressed her very fashionably. Lost opportunity. Sonny, in this episode, as good as it is, he has to stop being so naive, and I'll just leave it. Lieutenant Castillo needs to probably suspend him, and in this episode, he does get suspended, and the only problem I had with it was Lieutenant Castillo wasn't more like, you've had this coming for a long time, Crockett. Think it over in this day off. He had an opportunity to try to tell him, you're a maniac cop, Sonny. But it was good fun. I loved it. And by the way, I loved Izzy in this episode. As the boudoir photographer.
We just let them off, don't we? We just let them off for some reason. I think it's because it's the charming. because they're both charming
She
bastards.
got so many people killed in this episode, and we're like, she's hot. She can leave. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, no, I was real pissed off that she never fully got punished for her crimes. But yeah, okay, yeah.
And she was already rich when she went into it, so she only did it for the thrill of being a criminal. Yeah. So no one had to die. She could have just stayed home.
She was doing it as well, just to spite her fucking parents. And it's like, oh my god, what is it with these fucking rich chicks? What is it? Because it was based.
It was based on a real story at the time called The Mayflower Madam. She was a blue blood New Yorker who worked out of the Mayflower Hotel and had high-end clients, like really high-end, like the upper crust of all New York society, old money New York, new money New York, Hollywood New York, everybody, pals, cops, everybody.
Yeah, because I think they do sometimes draw on the little inspirations for, because it's Miami, isn't it? I mean, it's chock full of fucking stories about drug dealers and all that stuff, because it was a bit of a fucking time for the drug cartel, especially in the 1980s.
Yeah, the thing is, Miami does not have a cosmopolitan edge yet. This show is kind of helping it get it, honestly. Miami has just a football team and a moderately well-regarded university. That's it. I mean, it's a growing town. It's in the right place to get big. Miami and Florida are advancing with the affordability of high-efficiency air conditioning. That's the only reason there's people there now. That is a technology-dependent state. When a hurricane hits it and they lose power for a while, the way they have to give out water and the amount of people who just drop dead because there's no air conditioning, and it's a terrible tragedy, but that's a reality. Technology figures into living in Florida.
Yeah, Christ, man. So, yeah, we'll move on now from that. So I'll get on to my number 3 pick, and that is El Viejo, if I'm pronouncing that right. Has anyone else got that on their list?
No.
Yes, El Viejo is on my list too. That is correct.
I will get it to you soon. So, yeah, I'll go through my thoughts on it. Drug deal goes wrong with a cowboy-looking dude played by Willie Nelson stealing a briefcase belonging to a dealer. Crockett and Tubbs are puzzled who this mysterious cowboy is. And it's a great fun episode with Nelson stealing every scene he's in, making you wonder if he's on the side of good or bad. He's charming when he needs to be, tough, never loses his cool in a heated situation, but at the same time conveys a real tragedy to his character. He's part of a dying breed, haunted by his past, probably suffering survivor's guilt, and trades his peacemaker as it symbolizes he will have to break his code in order to do the right thing. He's dying and is willing to go out, hoping that this one final act will redeem him. And finally give him closure with the guilt he's suffered. And I love how when Crockett finds out, he's very smitten with this guy, and it kind of takes him back to being a kid. You can see Crockett probably idolized these kind of guys when he was younger, and has tried to model himself on these people, and it is very endearing. And you also get Steve Buscemi as the sleazy counselor guy, the consigliere, whatever, the guy who organizes everything. And I love the landlord as well, who has a punch bag because he can't afford a shrink, and he's always willing to do anything for the Willie Nelson character. It's a likable episode that's both fun, action-packed, and really emotional. And Willie Nelson elevates what could have been another average episode and turns it into rowdy gunslinging fun. So yeah, that's my thoughts on El Viejo, if I'm pronouncing that right.
You are pronouncing it correct. I agree with you. I just noticed something was confirmed. If you scroll up for a moment, you'll see that Dick Wolf does not write any of this episode. He's not involved in it at all.
And that explains why it is a little bit more out there. So
it's out there, and also a throwback to earlier cop shows. This is an episode that would have worked on Beretta. This is an episode that would have worked on Kojak. This is your traditional. This is honestly, I think the script was written for McCloud. There is a cop show called McCloud about a Texas Ranger who ends up undercover going to New York City. And so this was just McCloud comes to Miami. I thought it was a really, really good portrayal of Willie Nelson and an old man at the end of his rope who's younger than I am. Let's just forget about that for a moment. But I loved the fatalism. I loved his sense of justice. And yeah, Don Johnson showing his cowboy actor roots. He's a Texas Ranger. And then this episode gives depth to Switek, which I love. Switek is Switek. Is it Switek? He's chewing tobacco. He's able to relate to the younger Texas Ranger, and we can tell that younger Texas Ranger is going to be a red rum magnet because he's walking around like a fish out of water in his cowboy hat. And acting very Texas in a town that is much more East Coast and New York oriented. And this is the first of 2 episodes where we give the bad guys a swirly, which is in American high schools is when you grab someone by their feet and hold their head into the toilet and flush it with your foot over and over. So Tubbs gives someone a swirly in By Hook or By Crook, and Crockett gives someone a swirly in this one. We like sticking people's head into the toilet and telling them that they're garbage and scum. By the way, that would get them. They would be thrown off the force for that now, but I loved it. Steve Buscemi is from Nassau County, Long Island, where Ed Norton's from. Same accent, you can tell. He doesn't try to hide it.
Yeah, he's always got
a firefighter.
Yeah,
yes, he was.
Yep, and he even volunteered for the firefighters in New York when 9/11 happened, and
showed up on his own. He didn't wait for permission. He showed up and started helping because he knew what to do. And also, I've been to the Trees Lounge. It's not far from where I grew up. At the edge of Long Island in Queens. You know what? Debbie Mazur is from my hometown. She's from Jamaica. Yeah. There's El Viejo, and look how cool he is, man. No one.
He doesn't give a fuck. He just loved this character. He's so endearing. I mean,
breaking every fashion rule too. You're never supposed to wear glasses with a hat. That's in America, like that's frowned on. Like you would never wear glasses with a baseball hat with an overcoat, and you would never wear any kind of sunglasses with a hat. You know what I mean? It's like double vision protection. Like, how much do you need? We're not in Saudi Arabia. But Willie doesn't give a fuck. He's stoned anyway, so he throws on his fucking Ray-Bans and he puts on his Panama hat. And he's like, I'm ready to go, man. I'm El Viejo, huh? All right, I'm going to do this.
On the road again.
Yeah. What's my motivation? Well, sir, El Viejo's a lot like you. Got it. I'll be me.
Yeah. I like how he's real cool with Gina as well, but later on, as soon as fucking Crockett shows up, he's like, okay, Gina, fuck off. Come on, boys are talking.
I would have liked it if El Viejo could have bagged Gina. She got Liam Neeson. Why not El Viejo? Or Trudy. I think Trudy might have been more El Viejo's speed. But I loved this episode. It was fun. Willie Nelson elevated it. And yeah, he doesn't take his heart medication too regularly because he's ambivalent. And he provokes people into gunfights because he's basically Gran Torino walking around.
Yeah, he's looking for that one last step to redeem himself. But he's going to do it right.
It's great. It's great. By the way, I think this is the first time in this season we use our crime computer. And was anyone upset that it wasn't the computer, the AI we captured last year from D-Day? They should have kept that. That crazy cop retro program. This, like, we wouldn't believe we could have pulled him out of jail and had him do some IT stuff. That character was too good to let go from Bruce McGill.
Yeah, no, they should have brought him back. They really should.
Yeah, they should have brought him back. To try and redeem himself after what happened last time, because he was a likable character as well, and you really don't feel sorry for him that he went down this fucking dark road.
We see what's happening to Sonny as he could become that character as he sees the pain when he gets that football. That's like he's in McGill's headspace there. That's the kind of stuff that happened to D-Day's character, and that's why he sealed that cop up in the wall. Like, it's a combination of that and El Viejo, right? Like, the Texas Ranger who died that triggers El Viejo's killing spree was his partner's son. So, like, this is traditional law enforcement family, Americana, and all this stuff sort of coming together. And it's like all these traditional things in this brand new city of Miami. There he is getting his swirly. They're sticking his head in the toilet and telling him he's garbage and he's a turd too. I loved it.
And that's brilliant. It balances the right amount of fantasy with a little bit of gritty realism, and yeah, once again, you got Steve Buscemi playing a sleaze bagel, and he's always welcome. Steve Buscemi is always welcome. He's always a win for me.
And look how Sonny's dressed while he's being tough. No hot pink jacket. He's wearing steel gray, and he looks like Sonny would be a little bit tough. He does not look like a wuss anymore. He looked like a wuss last year too much.
Yeah, no, then again, Don Johnson can pull off the fucking white linen jackets. I wouldn't. I'd look.
The white linen, yes, but the hot pink jacket with the teal sleeveless T-shirt while he's slapping people around, or with his pipe cleaner arms and a teal T-shirt, and he's a tough guy screaming and complaining. It didn't work. So giving him the darker colored clothes, like this is just, it's still pretty Miami. It's still very hip. It's still very Versace, but it's just like he's having like a more serious day. Like he showed up ready to work. He doesn't have a collar, but he's got a button-down shirt at least. Lieutenant Castilla had a talk with him. He's like, you don't look like you're like you don't look like an adult. It's just not Jump Street Division. Please dress like an adult, and I'll let you keep the nickel-plated gun.
Plus, the thing is that it becomes even more fucking outlandish in season 4, and even season 5 when he starts wearing jeans with these fucking wingtips with the laces removed. It's yeah, he's got one hell of a fucking fashion sense, Sonny Crockett. He really does.
I think as Don Johnson gains more power, he's like, I'm not putting that shit on. And he just grabs like a jacket and wore his street clothes. And like, Don, that's how you came to work. He's like, fuck you. These clothes could have been seized by the property department too.
Yeah, because I have kind of heard he did have a bit of a fucking ego as he became bigger. So yeah, it's
who wasn't though? Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I mean, he's got Melanie Griffith. She's Cherry 2000. And also, we saw in that great clip that you provided for us last time where it's like, I just started throwing my effing clothes away because it was too damn hot to do anything. And then the other guy was like, I dressed like a dick all through high school because of you.
Wasn't he the highest paid star on TV at this point?
He probably would have had to be. But Philip Michael Thomas, not far behind. A lot of money in those days, but $30,000 per episode and $25,000 per episode.
Interesting.
Maybe Don had college.
Because, to wear the looser clothing, the one that flows and it's more breathable, especially like you mentioned, because of the fucking heat.
And also, like you just being tough and hot pink is pretty, even for Don. The white pants with the gray jacket, yes, but like hot pink, no.
Yeah, it was the 80s, man. It was the 80s. I was an 80s man.
He's doing better. He's wearing teal. He's wearing gray. He's not looking as... See, look, he looks pretty tough here. He could walk down the street today like this.
Yeah, he's got that tighter haircut as well. It's a bit more shorter. It's a bit more spiked. It's not...
Yeah.
It's big, majestic blonde mullet that he will later get in season 5. So
it's season 3.
He pulled it off, though. He does still kind of pull off the Bon Jovi haircut a little bit, though. So I kind of got to give him credit there.
I'm wondering how old Don is here.
I love how Tubbs is a little bit more similar, yet he's still kind of adapting to the Miami scenery as well. He still never loses that New York streetwise kind of vibe going.
Yeah, he lets Crockett get beat up for a while he finishes reading the article about the Miami Dolphins football game. He's like, I'll help you when I'm done with the sports section. And Crockett prevails without Tubbs noticing. And he's like, oh, Ricardo. Like, they have fun interplay now. They talk like friends instead of two cops who are just like wisecracking crazy people.
So, yeah, it is a good episode as well. And, so... We've already shown our thoughts on this one, and I think so. RTNZ, what's your number 3?
All right, number 3. Number 3 for me. I don't have a lot to say about it. You might have something to say about it as well. Number 3. I guess I chose most of these because, I definitely chose Viking Bikers from Hell, and when I retired as a client, so I chose. Specifically because I remember the impression it left on me when I saw it in the 80s, right? So this is one that left a bit of an impression too. Because I was a teenager at the time, and Vietnam and films about Vietnam and sort of remembering Vietnam had really crept into the American consciousness and was showing itself through TV. Now, there may be an alternative title to this episode, but the title that I know it by is Duty and Honor. And it's an episode about I don't like a lot of the Miami Vice serial killer episodes, but I did like this one. It's about a serial killer called the Savage, and the Savage was I think he was a member of the Phoenix Project, which was an assassination squad organized by the CIA and who conducted operations in Vietnam. And Martin Riggs in the Lethal Weapon movies was part of the Phoenix program. But anyway, so the Savage is a guy who He kills people. That's his job, and he does it with a knife. Like he's not a gunfighter. He just
it's like
sneaks up
he's
on a
never
bunch of
left Vietnam
infantry.
either, has he? He's like he's still killing. He's still killing these prostitutes, calling them VC whores, even though they're not even
That's right.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
Vietnamese.
because he's obviously got horrendous PTSD and he's insane. But it was because I think one of the prostitutes emasculated him, cut his nuts off in Vietnam. I can't remember the guest star actor who's Vietnamese. I can't remember his name. He was brilliant. And there's an American actor who plays sort of the CIA former handler for the Savage, who's great as well. But I just remember that the Savage is having this amazing, creepy presence. I can't even remember the actor's name. My brain.
Yeah, Michael Wright plays the Savage, so, and I think it's him here. Hang Zing.
Right. Yeah, I think he was in the Killing Fields film, which is
that's the Killing Fields guy.
Yeah, but which is a film that I watched far too young, and I was like, what the hell is this? During my brief career as a lawyer, I met a guy who had done depositions at some of the Khmer Rouge trials, and the stuff he had heard people admit to doing is beyond any kind of barbarism you can conceive of. Like that people would do those things to each other. It just, it boggles the mind. It really, I won't tell you because it'll give you nightmares. But anyway, but back to this episode. So the Savage himself, though, as an antagonist, he doesn't get a huge amount of screen time. He gets someone he's intimidating the landlady and stuff like that. But he never loses his cool. He doesn't become overly emotional.
There's really like a very quiet. There's a very quiet sinisterism to him, isn't there?
Oh, he's incredibly menacing. I mean, and you just know that everyone he interacts with is going to die. Yeah. I just thought he was such a great, creepy stalker villain. And at the end of the episode, Castillo helps take down the Savage. Because of course this is the shadow world that Castillo is connected with. And at the end, where the Vietnamese policeman pays a visit to the CIA handler and kills him with the Savage's knife, as he's demanding more ketchup. I really that stuck with me as a scene. Miami Vice is a program like that, but it may not have been the deepest and the most the most intellectually engaged, television program. But gosh, it does create scenes, and my number one has got one of those scenes that really they leave an impression with you. You see it, and you're like, ooh. And I think someone at one point said that Miami Vice was less about the words and the story, and more about the feeling of what's going on. The feeling, the impression it leaves. So that's why I chose this episode. I don't know if either of you got that on your list or have any commentary on it, but that's just my impression. Honor and Duty, number 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in my top 5, but I think if I did a top 10, it would definitely be in there because I do like it when Miami Vice goes full on sort of jet black noir as well. So, and it does sort of like add a bit more context into why Castillo is a bit more stoic and a little bit more reserved, and you just love Castillo. He's like, he's the guy you want as your boss, or you want as your authority figure because he will reel you in when when you start to feel like you might be losing your edge, or if the job might be getting to you. He will still try and find a way to sort of bring you back in and try and get you back to some kind of stability. And I did like and I did like the Asian agent as well, even though he's basically pretending to be one of his former friends, and you never know who this guy is as well or why he is doing this. But he had some involvement with the original guy that he was stealing the identity from.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I would just say, as the son of a Vietnam veteran, it hit a little close to home. But our nation's most controversial, frowned upon war. I lived to see my own father spat upon for serving in that war, and just an enormously divisive topic. It was well approached and well done. Well done. It was a good episode.
Yeah, and it also goes to show just what a lot of fucking scumbags the government is as well when they exploit these people for their own fucking agendas.
And how disrespectful the American public in general was to the soldiers who were stuck fighting there in a dirty, horrible war they had no choice over. People were very, there was no sympathy for these veterans. And this story at least gave this guy some reasons why he was nuts. They didn't pop him out of a box and have him be a nuts Vietnam vet. So I appreciated some depth of character, but they were obligated to use the character type. It was well done. It didn't bother me. I didn't feel like they were pandering or in over their heads in this episode. It was well done.
Yeah, no, and some people sort of have a go at the Miami Vice episodes where they'd go down serial killers saying, wait a minute, these are they supposed to be tracking down fucking drug dealers? And isn't drug dealers, serial killers supposed to be more for the homicide kind of people? It's, I don't know, sometimes you kind of just got to let it go.
It makes sense. Here's why it makes sense. Serial killers prey on prostitutes. That's like that's like everything else is like they want bigger trophies, but like on the side they're just blowing away a few prostitutes every month because they're serial killers. That seems to be like our cinematic serial killers trope, right?
Oh yeah.
But also in real life, it's just been proven that like like prostitutes and stuff are the like highest volume of victims. But think of how vulnerable they are, and they might not be missed.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a trope. I mean, look at Jack the Ripper and the fucking Yorkshire Ripper as well. I mean, fucking hell, there was
that's your king, not. Oh,
yeah.
I believe he's one of the princess's grandfather. It's weird, not the one that acts like a serial killer either.
There was still that conspiracy, but it's still never confirmed, and I don't think we'll ever find out.
It's too great of a story to ever walk away from, but it is pretty unlikely. But I did appreciate this episode's, this was a sensitive subject close to home, but they didn't insult me. They didn't insult my intelligence. They took the subject very seriously, and he was just an evil guy who was twisted by war. This is the second time we've seen Vietnam sort of boomerang back on Sonny and conflict him.
Yeah, and fucking, it goes to show just how fucking great these writers were and what they knew what they were doing as well, because obviously some of these writers probably did have family members or friends who had come back from Vietnam and they wanted to touch on that kind of subject as well. And I mean, it was still going on as well. Some of these people still hadn't left, and there's some that are alive today who still haven't left and probably never will.
My own father, had to come to terms with what happened there to him, and it was wounds from that finally claimed his life. And just a sad referendum. Like even to his last days, he was disrespected by people simply for having served in that war.
So I think we'll move on now. But it's
I think we summed that one up nicely.
Yeah, because I think I don't think we need to go on anymore about this now, because we said what we've had to say, and especially when it's a very, very touchy subject as well, and when the show does a good job, you got to fucking give credit for it. So I think are we all on our number 2s now?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Really well covered, like a respectful approach to a topic, and the guy is still the villain, and they pulled it off. It was great.
He's a villain who's kind of just been molded as well. He's been molded into something even worse instead of being given the help that he really, really, really fucking needed more.
Well, they didn't want to help this guy. He was a weapon. He was a tool.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, it's kind of like John Malkovich's character in The Line of Fire as well, because he's a weapon, but now he's out of control, and now they have to fucking stop him.
Did you ever see The Hunted? Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, no, which is that film. I always thought that film was more accurate to the First Blood novel than the actual First Blood movie, because that is about a traumatized vet in a way as well, who has to be hunted down by an authoritative figure who was gone fucking crazy. But then there is that little ambiguity as well, where you start to wonder if Benicio del Toro's character actually was right to be paranoid.
Yeah, well, that's who that character reminds me of, because he's sort of a similar kind of killer. Anyway, number 2.
So I will move on to number 2. Forgive us our debts, and this is the first and definitely not last appearance of Hackman, who is about to be executed for the murder of Sonny Crockett's friend. But it's looking like he could be innocent, so now Crockett and Tubbs have to prove his innocence before Hackman gets fried like a chicken at Popeyes. And it's a great episode that keeps you on the edge of the seat the whole time. You've got the ticking clock, and you really do get worried that Crockett and Tubbs might not be able to prove his innocence in time. And the guy who plays Hackman, wait, let me get to the page. He is fucking good as well. He kind of comes across a little bit creepy, but at the same time, you wonder if he is innocent. And then even Sonny Crockett really goes over the edge. I mean, he's fucking drowning this guy to get the information out of him. Sonny Crockett is really, he's not fucking about anymore now. He really isn't. He's violating someone's rights here just to out of desperation. And then you get the ending where where he's finally pardoned for his crimes. He's been proven innocent, and the guys that's Sonny Crockett was questioning shows up to pick him up, and the fucking look on his face as well as he takes his crucifix off and hands it to Sonny, saying, "I'm not going to need this anymore." God, talk about rubbing salt into the fucking wounds. This. And I really love Guy Boyd here as well. He's really good. He's really good. He's really creepy. And damn, he almost looks like he could be Judge Holden in the Blood Meridian movie if it ever comes out. I mean, look at him. Look at that face. That is pure evil on that face. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode. It's really good. It keeps you guessing, and you got a really good sucker punch ending. And it does set up for one of the best episodes in season 4, in my opinion.
Isn't it it is a strange principle of justice, isn't it? That you should, well, I guess it makes sense, but I mean that you should only be punished for the crimes which can be proved you did. And that even if there are crimes which you definitely did, but can't be proved, that you shouldn't be then punished for another crime. Do you know what I mean? Like the balancing of the scales has to be done on the basis of fact and evidence. It's a strange principle, and it's very unsatisfying sometimes. But you can understand why we have it, and it's that's why evidence is excluded.
Yeah, it's like because life isn't simple. Sometimes things are just much more complicated. Like sometimes the hardest decision where someone may have to lose a life could be the best decision, which could lead to 1,000 more lives living on. It's shit, but sometimes life can be very fucking complicated sometimes, but it is what it is. It really is. So has anyone else got this on their list?
No, don't.
Good episode, but I don't have it on my list.
Okay, so I've already had my proven my points on it anyway, and it does set up later on for an episode as well which really gives Crockett as well this really tragic moment. This really tragic thing that goes on later on. So, yeah, I'll move on to RTN.
By the way, one of the hot chicks in this episode is in a political scandal that knocks an American presidential candidate out. Donna Rice is in this episode. She tanks a guy called Gary Hart. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with Gary Hart.
Yeah, I'm looking for a name. Where is she? I'm not seeing her.
She's like she's like Woman by Pool, perhaps. You're gonna have to go to the full cast for that one. So if you see up to the top, see the high, that one. She's one of those. Like she'll be towards the bottom for sure. There was a small cast. It was mostly them. Yes, she had kind of weird teeth. Donna Rice, Mrs. Frankel, Detective Frankel's wife. She probably only said, "Oh, honey, what's going on?" It's like, "I'll take care of this."
Boom.
And this is a Yurkovich episode more than a Dick Wolf episode, so it's not quite as grounded, right? Still good, but a little less grounded.
Yeah, it didn't seem too unbelievable. It's but yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, look at that. Wolf's name's not on there.
Yeah, but you do sort of
tell. It's so obvious when when Wolf is on one, you can tell.
Yeah, and it's real obvious as well that why he didn't get fucking done for police brutality, because they wanted him to fucking lose his shit as well and give him the information, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So it's
yeah, he's again a bad cop, right? Like, he's not the smartest cop.
Yeah, no, and plus he's in a desperate situation as well, because he doesn't want to have this guy's death on his conscience, even though he probably does deserve it. And the guy who plays the politician, he's kind of right as well, even though he's basically just out for his own public political career.
And again, like, Lieutenant Castillo is like, I passed the captain examination. When do I move up? It's like, you've got this wild man Crockett on your squad that you refuse to rein in, Castillo. You're going to stay a lieutenant until you learn how to command men. Nickel-plated automatic. This is his third straight discontinued gun. I want that man with a regulation firearm, Castillo. You don't understand, sir. It was voodoo. I like the fact that we took him back to Vietnam and stuff like that. We saw his darkness, and it made sense that he's lieutenant and not detective because he's CIA, right? Or he's doing some sort of military intelligence mission in Nam.
Good point. So, number 2 episode, RTNZ. What's your number 2?
All right. Now I'm interested. I'm a little bit. Well, I'm not. I don't know if either of you picked this one, and if you haven't, well, I'm not surprised, but kind of surprised. It doesn't make any sense at all. So my second favorite episode is just like the last one that really left an impression with me. I saw it back in the day, and rewatching it recently, a lot of the things that made it stand out to me made it stand out again. It's an episode about family and about the lengths that family will go to protect each other.
I think I know what you mean.
The episode called Kill Shot.
Yeah, that's not a bad episode. I didn't pick it in my top 5 because I thought there was probably some better ones in there, but I do get what you mean as well. And you've got a really good guy as well, just trying to protect his brother from a crime that he thinks he's committed, even though he's been set up. And would you compromise your own principles to save a family member? It's that one of those questions. And yeah, this is a good episode.
Yeah, it's tragic because everyone loses at the end. Tico dies, and Frank ruins his career, and of course, who knows? I mean, with Miami Vice cops, who knows? It may have been a justified shooting at the end, but it's set up really nicely. What else was it? There was a bunch of things about this, and I had never seen Highlight before, right? So as a teenager seeing Highlight, I was amazed, like, wow, what an incredible sport. So yeah, the highlight scenes are really, really entertaining, and I liked the character. I found their dynamic kind of believable. And Tico, playing the talented but also weak and compromised athlete, that made a lot of sense to me. I can't remember if there a Guzman in this episode because we talk about recycling, and one of the things that's recycled a lot is the name Guzman, because there's at least 2 Guzmans we've seen as villains so far.
And he shows up in the probably my number 1 pick as well. And I'm guessing your number 1 pick too.
Probably we've got the same one. There's something also about, I'm trying to remember now because I made some notes on these a little while ago. But there's something about the woman, the female prostitute, who they think Tico thinks he's murdered. What was it about her? There's something about her career afterwards. She does modeling. She had an interesting background.
Yeah, see if let's go full cast for this one. Let's have a look.
There was something interesting in her background, but I liked it. I liked the story, and it built. I think the character work to build Frank Aracola, to build him up to a really likable, solid kind of guy, almost the antithesis of Sonny and well, not so much Tubbs, but the antithesis of Sonny, because he wasn't a wild man. He was a by the book agent. He did things the right way. He was upright, upstanding, had a really strong moral background, and it was his love for his brother that, of course, brought him down. And of course, it has a great ending. It ends with like gunfire and then fade to black. And Miami Vice does that a bunch of times. And it's always quite effective when it does it.
Yeah, sometimes it just ends, doesn't it? Like it gets straight to the point with the ending, and you kind of guess what's happening anyways. Okay, he goes to shoot the guy. It shoots, freeze frame, executive producer Michael Mann, run the end credits, and that's about it. And you get it. You get the point.
Yeah, sometimes it just stops, right? There's no ending. It stops. We also have episodes that just start. It's sort of, in the analogy, they drop the needle and then just pull it off the record at the end. It's like we get the song and then whoop, you're done.
Do you remember the Magnum PI episode where he meets the Russian interrogator who tortured him and his friends in Vietnam? And he at the end of this ends the same way that Magnum can, he's let the guy walk away, but then he confronts him at the very end before he's about to leave. And he says, did you see the sunrise this morning, Ivan? And then obviously shoots and it fades to black. You don't see whether he killed the guy or not, but he has. And that's something that
because where else are you going to go?
Does that right after he says there are 4 lights?
Yeah, just about. Yeah, I can't see Captain Picard doing that. But see Captain Kirk doing that. But and Cisco would definitely do that. Kirk would, Cisco would.
Cisco would put the phaser on low power so he could hit him a few times with it.
Yeah.
I really need to watch Deep Space Nine. I've never watched Deep Space Nine, but I'm hearing it's. I know people are saying it's one of the more darker Star Trek series as well. So I need to.
It's a little convoluted too. It's my least favorite Star Trek show, to be honest, of the original shows. It's a really good show, but out of all the originals, the order of enjoyment would be TOS, TNG, ENT, VOY, DS9. But I like DS9. I've started every episode. There's a lot I haven't finished because they're too confusing and convoluted. I'll stick with it for the Doctor, Quark, or Garrick. Cisco sometimes just begins to annoy me. And even though Cyril Lofton's a good actor, those episodes aren't always great, but those are some of the best ones with the child cast or the younger cast. Because what is it? Nam is actually like 31 or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've had different things about Deep Space Nine. I'm just looking to see if Mark Alimo showed up as an extra in Miami Vice.
It's a real good show, but the thing is, it breaks a few Star Trek rules as far as the optimism, and they don't explore because they're at that space station. And for the most part, it goes soap opera, which is on Star Trek like too. But they don't like do immoral things or anything like that. They try to stay true to the Star Trek ideas.
It's not episodic.
It's a good show.
And
it's not episodic. I mean, it is to a point, but it's more. It's only to a point.
It's more serialized.
Well, it's about war, right? It's a war story. Like after season 3, the season 4, 5, 6, and 7 are consumed by an overarching war story, right? So it's quite a departure from regular Star Trek. But I think you'll find that fans of Deep Space Nine, it's got a lot of fans, and
they're the most virulent Star Trek fans.
Yeah, I really go back. I love TNG. Possibly my favorite, but I rewatch Deep Space Nine quite regularly because there's an episode in Deep Space Nine called "In the Pale Moonlight," which is about Cisco's descent from being sort of a very, not from being optimistic, but from being a high moral character to a much lower moral character, much more pragmatic. Anyway, not tangent, but back to Killshot. So Killshot's sorry. Killshot is,
I can't believe I'm the one. I'm not the one responsible for the Star Trek tangent.
Yeah, sorry, but
it's my fault as well.
Actually, you are. You are
3 passionate fans of Trek.
No.
We love the show. That's true. One joke about 4 lights and 3 men. 3 men go crazy on Star Trek. You know what?
You said 4 lights.
It's a show worth loving. I'll be talking about it later today. But yeah, Killshot was good.
Yeah, highlight is you'll have to help me out with the origins of the game.
Okay, so I don't know too much about this. I've been to Florida. I've seen highlight. The appeal of it is you can gamble on it. The appeal of it is you can gamble on it. So these people, that's sort of like racquetball meets lacrosse, but you're jumping off the walls. It looks like some kind of crazy sci-fi game. It's left over from
like
the 80s.
Tron.
Yep. And we see something close to it, like Magnum plays a lot of racquetball. So just imagine super aggressive racquetball, but there's a way to play it with like handball like rules, and you can play it for a competitive match. And down in Florida, people really greatly enjoyed gambling on it. A lot of money revolved around it, especially in the 80s. There were professional highlight leagues, they probably still exist. And it was, I suppose it's a Spanish sport, but I think it's a hybridized American invention of some sort of traditional Spanish sport. You have those scoops on your hands, and you try to grab them, and you lob the ball back and forth against that wall, and it's a little bit like rollerball meets racquetball. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Well, it's fantastic. The highlight scenes are fantastic. Obviously, they filmed in real locations.
And they had real highlight players, so there was some great athleticism.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hand-eye coordination on those guys. Incredible.
So was the guy who played his brother a real actual player then?
I would imagine so, because because you put on enough gear to cover up the face, maybe not. But the thing is, we do see enough from this actor to convince me that he possibly at least played. Remember, it was also big recreationally. This was considered like the 80s is when like the only person who didn't get the memo was Don. People were getting into shape in the 80s, and like athletic pursuits in America were becoming big. So racquetball, highlight, people would play this recreationally. So it's possible this actor just was like, hey, we see that on your actor resume. You say you have moderate highlight skills. That's pretty impressive because my highlight is so hard. If we wouldn't have to double you too much. You want to play a murderer on a Miami Vice, and he's like, yeah, I'll kill somebody on Miami Vice for money.
Yeah, and the fact that it does kind of highlight how dangerous this sport is as well. I mean, fucking hell, like the ball hits you, you could be dead because you get run at such powerful speed.
Apparently, it's from the Incans. Right? It's like a solid rubber ball, I believe. I haven't played it. Like, don't look at me. I'm from the Northeast. I played baseball, all right?
Fair play.
Yeah, plus they use sport in the opening titles as well, don't they? Just to show off all the Miami touristy attractions, before they start throwing you into the fucking gritty, drug-crazed world of the episodes.
The show is starting to bring people and money to the city, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that must have put Miami on the fucking map. It really must have done, because
it was gonna get there anyway. It was just they decided to film there, and now you've got like the ultimate tourism commercial. So even though there's crime there, everyone always gets caught, and you just see these locations, and it's associated with being very wealthy. And we had like this perception of a nationwide crime wave anyway. So why shouldn't Miami have crime?
Okay, so I sometimes nicknamed the fastest ball sport in the world. At the time of filming of this episode, the standing world record for the fastest run pelota, as the ball is called in high hala. Sorry, I'm getting the name wrong. I do apologize.
El pelute. That's Spanish.
Yeah, pelute. Okay. Was 190 miles per hour. As of 2007, the fastest ball speed is over 200 miles per hour. Fucking hell, man. That's
no joke.
Jesus Christ. Yep, dialogue from this episode was used as a sample on the Belgian new beat song Drop the Deal by Code 61. I don't know that one. I have no idea about that one. So, yeah. But I'm
guessing it's a European club hit, but wow.
Yeah. But, yeah, I do appreciate that that Miami Vice does what it does as well. It does bring some kind of moral ambiguity as well. And you see it later as well with the Ian McShane episode where you've got this woman who's got this sick kid, this disabled woman, and she's willing to commit a crime as well just so she can support both of them.
Yeah, Judas shows up. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I love about Miami Vice as well. It's never always black and white. There's good people who get caught up doing bad things and they end up paying for it. It's that's good storytelling. That's very good.
Look at the writers again. No association by Wolf on this one, and even though it's grounded, it had like more of a higher stakes episode, which is he's not comfortable with. And doesn't this one have a rather gaudy gunfight?
Yes,
at the end it finishes. Well, yeah, it's a couple, but
yeah,
finishes one.
Dick Wolf does not want his stars being the ones who shoot people. For instance, the show Special Victims Unit has been on for 25 years. Benson has never killed anyone and only shot 2.
Interesting.
Yeah, because isn't that kind of like realistic anyway? Like most of the time, you don't always get into gunfights, and when you do, it's like over within seconds anyway.
Yeah, that is also true. But the thing is, Dick Wolf like read the police manual. Like when the SVU cops go to make a bust, it's like they've got the exits covered. Like when people try to flee, they run into another cop. If they, like they don't always just try to pull a gun. It's like they've got everything covered, and usually they show up with a bunch of people, and they're like the jig's up, and they're throwing the handcuffs on the person before they can figure out what's going on. The SVU and the Law and Order cops, they don't hesitate. They just walk in and throw the free jewelry on you, as we call it in America. You get some free matching bracelets from the city of New York.
Okay, so yeah, that's kill shots. Is this on anyone else's list?
No, it's not on mine, but I will say it's is the term specific to highway, right? It's about a gambit in highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was and of course the double meaning that you get hit by it. Oh yeah, it's fun episode. My number 2. How about you, T? What was your number 2?
Yep. What's your number 2, man?
my number 2, believe it or not, has already been covered. It's El Viejo. So I guess
okay.
Could I drop to number 3 and tell you, this episode, it's a good deal, man. We bring back Bob Balabin, man. He's got a little more emotion this time, man. It's a good deal. Bob Balabin's back. I don't know why his wife, who won't leave him, is hotter than Sonny's wife, who did, but it's a good deal, man. Stone's War, man. He's back, man. He's in South America, and he sees some stuff that's a bad deal. It's a bad deal, but he's got some video of it, and if he can get it to the right people, there'll be justice, and he's hiding out on Sonny's yacht. It's one of the more interesting episodes, because what we do is, I think this episode represents a hard reboot. I do not know if this is Dick Wolf. I'm interested if he wrote this one. It feels that way, though, because of the darkness, the seriousness, the very heavy trigger discipline. No? Okay, so Jurgovich and Jackson. So Wolf's still an executive producer on this. We see trigger discipline. We see a different performance just by a little bit by Balabin this time. His Overton window of emotions has opened up a bit, but he's an honest piece of garbage who lets his friend die, right? Or is it more important to get the truth out there and he can't save his friend? We don't know. Stone's world is so weird. He's at a firefight in South America to start this off, and he sees some Americans, and there he is again, one of the Watergate plumbers, G. Gordon Liddy he's in on this. It's a bad deal, man. It's a bad deal. And Bob Balabin just has to get the truth out there. But you know what? He shows that even though he's flawed, man, like at the end of the day, he does the right thing. The truth gets out there. America's a better place, man, because Bob Balabin gets the truth out there. Ira Stone fights his own war, man. He's been at war since Nam, and he comes home and he sees this other stuff going on. He doesn't want it to happen again, man. So he gets that story out. The truth's out there, and at the end, the fate that he meets is so ghoulish, but like he was brave. At the end, he was brave. And when he talks to the last person he sees is Sonny, and Sonny is changed by this. He is changed by what the events of Stone's War, and he is a little colder and harder from this for the rest of the season. I loved Stone's War, and I loved seeing Bob Balabin come back and do the character in a way that sort of justified the way I was wondering about, like, what's up with his lack of emotion? It's like, I guess he was supposed to be more drugged up the first time, because he says it's like, I'm off the drugs, man. It's a good deal. And he's like, oh, that's a good deal. I'm glad to hear it. And he's like, get alligator away from me, Sonny. It's a bad deal. And he's a little more normal and grounded. I liked it.
Yeah, and it's definitely an episode where the bad guys fucking win as well. And Sonny pretty much has to give his friend false hope before he dies as well. But no, the bad guys have won. They remove all the tapes. They kill that fucking reporter who probably could have just made the copy and then kept the copy for herself, so Sonny could have used the real tape to actually trade his fucking life, to trade for his fucking friend's life.
Right.
But, Yeah.
does the right thing as a cop instead. I would just say this, the G. Gordon Liddy character, if we keep using him without killing him off, I forget how he ends this episode. I think he's still in play, right? If his character's still in play, it would be interesting to connect him back to the actual CIA guys in New York from last year who were like, we'll do whatever we want and get the fuck out of our office. The Among the Living guy from Poltergeist was just like, well, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. You got $600 in the bank. It would be interesting to connect him back to that guy.
Yeah, like a big conspiracy.
Right.
Like the whole game is rigged against them, no matter what they do.
These are your smoking men, like X-Files bad guys. They're dumping coke on the streets to fund CIA black ops. They're giving like weapons to terrorists and other horrible shit with the money they're getting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, more like recycled sets. Look. Once again, recycled sets.
Yeah. I think that what is Stone's triumph simply that he died trying very hard to do the right thing. The story doesn't get out there, but he's about the truth. He's not some piece of garbage, right? So redemption for Stone. And, you know, the hangover from Nam, but showing Nam guys having honor too. I liked that. So we show both sides of Vietnam in this season. So over the course of the season, very balanced. They don't try to have it all in one episode either. I respected how well done Stone's War was. It's my number 3.
Yeah, and it is a good episode. It really fucking is. It's bleak as hell and very nihilistic, but it really does fucking hit you emotionally, though. It does. It does not fuck about. Once again, this is why I love Miami Vice.
He dies for 8 minutes, man.
Yeah.
We see 2 sequences of them just like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot you again because you're a horrible person. And he's like, all right, man. I'm not afraid of you, man. And it was like, all right, he's got some honor at the end after all these things he's done. And like, I guess it was so people could know the truth, right?
Yep. But yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a good episode. So I don't know, is this on anyone else's list?
No, I really with putting this one.
I thought this one would be a log jam at the top.
Yeah, I suspect though, if Lord Toxic was here, I suspect he would have put this on his list. But it seems to be the kind of episode that would appeal to him. I mean, having his background, right? So, it was a very good episode. But I mean, I tried consciously to avoid a couple of choices that were really obvious, and I think this is one of those obvious choices I avoided for that reason, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, no, it's a very, very good episode, and Bob Balaban puts in a terrific performance again as Stone. Yeah, he's an interesting character, very compromised character. You know?
It's definitely in my top 10, though. It is. It's definitely in. Yeah, plus I think it is. I don't know why I didn't pick it a bit higher, but I don't know. It was. But anyway, moving on right now. So I think we have done our number 2s now, and are we moving on to number 1s? Is all number 2s done now?
I think Luke, you and I have the same number. You and I have the same number 1, so we probably might.
Yes. I don't know if you have Admiral Teague, but we'll see anyway. So yeah,
I think we talked about it. I think it's different. Go ahead.
Yeah. My number 1 is Down for the Count.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and it's one of the ballsiest episodes as well. I mean, this time it takes the Zito character and actually makes him a bit more serious, and it shows as well that he is not just this the more comical sidekick to the Miami Vice team. He actually does have some layers as well, and we found out a little bit more about his past with his boxing. And you got Tex Cobb on there as well, who's
Tex Cobb.
Yeah, Tex Cobb is just fucking who's always a joy to watch. He really is. Let me get the episode on.
He's playing himself. You know, John Deal, actually, the actor who played Lawrence Zito, he actually did box. I mean, so I was watching the boxing sequence, and I said, you know, when he spars with Sykes, and I'm watching him move, and it's like, yep, this guy knows how to box. Just his movement's so good. He has a record of his 2 professional fights, a record of 1-1, 1 win, 1 loss.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention the plot as well. It's basically where they have to look for this guy who's exploiting boxers right now, and John Deal ends up kind of becoming a mentor to a young boxer after Tex Cobb dies dies like a fucking boss, just telling the Guzman character to go fuck himself. And it also eventually leads to Switek being killed off, and it's really emotional once Zito getting killed off, and Switek, and Switek as well when he finds him. I mean, he doesn't just burst out into fucking tears though. He kind of is trying to fight it as well. He's trying to fight the fact that is the pain of losing his friend right there. I mean, it's a really good nuanced performance, and fucking hell, man, it got me a bit teary-eyed as well. It really is. It's a proper fucking tearjerker.
God, you see in the chat, Luke, Jamalama's here. Hello, Jamalama. Says,
Jamalama, sorry about it, because I'm going
more
back
of a Baywatch
with the tabs. So yeah,
more of a Baywatch Nights man.
Yeah, oh, fucking hell! Don't get me started. I've been watching a couple.
Hey, Angie Harmon. Right? She was all right.
Streams there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch some of that Baywatch Nights as well, because that looks weird. That is just bizarre.
The female star is so beautiful. Angie Harmon is really gorgeous. You're gonna love her. You'll be able to watch it because of her. She's really good looking.
Yeah. So yeah, and also this is a two-parter as well. So when it gets to part 2, this is a big Switek episode, and the loss of Zito is really largely felt as well. I mean, fucking Gina even takes this guy home that she hasn't seen in years just to make herself feel better.
Trudy.
She doesn't. Yeah. Trudy. Sorry. Yeah, Trudy. Yeah, Trudy. And I love when they're sorting out his flat as well, and they see a snow globe, and they're like, you know what? You work with a guy so many years, and you barely know him. It's like there is kind of a tragedy there as well when he says that. And it's and it shows as well that Michael Talbot can really play this character straight as well, and play him with a bit more dignity, instead of once again being a bit of a goofball like John Deal was with originally in the role. And it does add some layers to his character as well, because not only has he lost his friend, but his friend's reputation has been sullied, really badly sullied, and he is vengeful. He is bloodthirsty as well, and he almost comes close to breaking to basically crossing that line that he shouldn't do as a cop, but he does finally find his way back, and he takes down the guy in self-defense.
Yeah, well, I mean that final gunfight in down. I mean, it's interesting because it escalates. It escalates because, of course, in the second episode, the Italian mafia in Las Vegas get wind of what Guzman is up to with cornering the market on boxing and gambling, right? So, of course, the Italian mafia make an appearance in the second episode, and that they escalate sort of the drama around things. And of course, Chris Elliott appears as a cryptographer who cracks the code in Guzman's notebook. Yeah, there's lots to be said. I mean, there's lots of explosions and gunfights and all the rest. There's Sordoni, the scummy lawyer. Yeah, I think pretty much my feeling's the same as you. Oh, Robert Pastorelli appears in the second episode as well. Character actor. Appeared as lots of mafia characters.
Yeah, and it might be one of the few times where Tex Cobb isn't sort of playing a redneck arsehole. He's actually a good guy who cares for his fighters, and you really do feel the friendship. You really do feel the friendship between him and Zito as well.
Well, he was a fighter, right? Tex Cobb was boxer, the kickboxer, right? There's a bit of trivia. I suspect so. One of the goons that works for Guzman, he kicks Tex Cobb in the face a couple of times. And that guy was a stuntman actor, but a real life karate instructor. His name was Joe Hess. And I suspect that he and Tex Cobb, you actually just scroll by in there. That's Joe Hess kicking Tex Cobb in the face. I suspect he and Cobb would have known each other from kickboxing. But man, like I think it's Tex Cobb playing himself. I mean, I've seen his interviews on Letterman, right? And he's quite a character. But that really is Tex Cobb playing Tex Cobb. And I really enjoyed it for that aspect. Yeah, it's a really solid two-parter, and yeah, as you said, the actor who plays Switek, he really sells the scene where he discovers Zito's body because he doesn't burst into tears or scream or go nuts. There's a look that gets in, yeah, that look there of just horror and loss, and you can't believe it. And then he hugs Sito's body, and then that's the end of the first episode. And of course, the trope of internal affairs being an antagonist is well at play in the second episode because the IA guys they close the book on Zito as an overdose, right? So, as you say, they've really sullied his reputation.
No.
Yeah, and of course, and they clear his name at the end, but they're having a toast on Sunny's yacht. Now, I think the real life reason that John Deal left the role is he wanted to concentrate on more serious cinema, and I think his career took a big backstep afterwards. That he went into not cinema, sorry, on stage work. He went back to working on the stage, and I think he moved into a tiny little basement apartment and he really. There's Chris Elliott as the
Yeah,
co-creator.
he's fun in this as well. He's very funny. Yeah, he's
Oh
like
yeah,
this. He's like the code cracker, isn't he? So.
yeah. I tell you, the one really unbelievable element I found. Yeah, there he is. There's Switek. But that's a
Yeah.
real change. His character has become so much more serious, and eventually they follow that up. That things start to go quite wrong for him. But I mean, the ending when he shoots Guzman doesn't just shoot him 3 times, but also shoots him out a window. So
Yeah,
he's
it looks cool as well when the
suitably.
glass smash and he
Oh
falls.
yeah,
It does looks cool. It looks cool.
yeah.
But
He's
yeah, it was
suitably
so good to
destroyed
sort of
by
see
it.
him see these roles play in a bit more of a dignified manner. I mean, they never insulted the characters anyway. They still made them likable. But I always kind of like it when you see a character that's sort of seen as the comic relief, but shown that there is more to them than just some one-liners. There is actual layers to them as well, and they can be very complex when you're given a good fucking writer to sit down and try and flesh them out a bit more.
Mm. Did you notice in the gunfight scene at the end? So you got the Italian, it's a little bit like True Romance going back there. You got the Italian mafia.
Yeah.
You got Guzman's thugs, and you got Sonny and Tubbs and Switek, right? So you got the three sort of different sides converging all at once. Did you notice though that all the bystanders immediately hit the ground? When you watch the gunfight scene, um, all the bystanders are lying flat on the ground, prone right away. They all drop down immediately.
Yeah, that's fucking smart as well because
Yeah, it is. But does it mean that there are so many gunfights in
yeah,
Miami?
so Miami they're like,
People are
oh
just
my
used
god,
to,
here we go,
oh, it's a
another fucking
gunfight.
gunfight. Some guys in
Right.
pastel suits shooting fucking nickel plated with revolvers and Colt 45s again. Jesus Christ, can't we just go to the mall without this happening?
This is the United States, fellas. I mean, yeah, we know what to do. You hear the gunfire. If it's overlapping, you know it's serious.
Yeah. There's one thing I forgot to mention as well, and that is Sonny Crockett being Sonny Burnett, because this time he's really sort of like what's the fucking term? He's really ramping up the country accent a lot more. Like say, we got this nice little deal going on right here, and we want it to go real. It's kind of like Charlie when he tries to be a Texan. It's you never see Sonny Crockett ever do it again when he's Sonny Burnett. We never do. This is like the only time we see him.
Yeah, but Ricardo Burnett or whatever it is, he does. Ricardo Cooper. Ricardo Cooper has almost half the time the same consistent Bohemian accent. Sometimes he's just an American, but sometimes he's a Bohemian banker.
Yeah, like he's Jamaican, doesn't he? He's always talking like
what's
that.
Bizarre.
It's great, but I love it when he does it. It's fun.
But what's more bizarre than that is Sonny's cover story he's trying to sell to Guzman and then to the Italians is that he represents a satellite, a satellite television company that's gonna, acquire the rights to these boxing matches and then, show them pay-per-view. And at one point, Tubbs calls him out and he says, "Man, we don't work for those, Sun Belt satellite corporate company. What are we gonna do?" And Sonny's like, "Yeah, I'll figure it out." I'm just making this shit up as I go along.
I think what's in the guise of the banker, the deal is some nameless generalissimo who's down with the CIA has plenty of keys of cocaine that he wants to bring to America, and Burnett and Cooper can make this happen for you.
Oh, Don King. We haven't mentioned Don King.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, he's on that as well.
Don King appears.
Best hair in the 80s.
Yeah, they go and get advice from Don King, and you wonder how much of what he's telling them, is autobiographical. When Don King gives them advice about boxing and gambling and all the rest, you really wonder, how much of this is Don King's real life experience? Having to deal
I don't know if Don
probably...
King could read, so I'm thinking that he probably just like, go ahead and riff, sir.
Yeah, and he's making breakfast at the time. He appears in a bathrobe with, I think, tiger stripes in it or something like that. I remember. I remember the hair, but also he's very tall. I didn't realize how tall Don King was.
Yeah, they really do make the best of their fucking guest stars, don't they? I mean, even non-actors, these sports stars, musicians, everyone. I mean, they would throw everyone in the episode, anyone they could find.
Yeah, I looked up the guy who appears as the actor who fights Sykes and gets knocked out by him. That's at the end of the first episode, but I couldn't find any information about him, whether he actually was a real life boxer or not.
But yeah, that scene where Zito is having a little sparring match with the young boxer. I mean,
with Billy
I don't know if that was done for real. I don't know if they really were having a sparring, because that did not look choreographed. That did not look choreographed at all.
Well, John Deal, as I said, the guy who plays Zito, he had 2 professional fights, 1 win, 1 loss, like professional fights, which means he would have had a huge number of amateur fights. Like when you see that, like they start sparring, they wouldn't have needed to choreograph it. I mean, obviously they choreograph the ending, he gets knocked out, but they wouldn't have needed to choreograph it. And you see John Deal start moving, like his head movement, his body movement, and right away, okay, this guy's actually knows how to box. So that was really cool. I thought that was nice that they were able to work that in, both in the story, in a way that made sense for the story, and for the character, and for the actor as well. So it's a nice convergence there. Yeah, that's a solid scene. But right away, okay, this guy knows how to box. Just watching him move.
Yeah, I don't know if we can add anything else to this episode, because
no.
I know. I wonder if we'll end up repeating ourselves. It's
probably.
It's
you can't see enough good things about Tex Cobb, though. That's probably one of Tex Cobb's best performances ever.
Yeah, I mean, because he doesn't really have to do much, does he? All he has to do is show up, and that's it. I think the only time he
breaks into Guzman's apartment, and that was an amazing location. That it's on a canal, I think. The house Guzman has, and he sort of sneaks up and hog ties the guy who's doing security. Well, what you pass for security, and then trashes the place looking for the diary, right? So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, you're right. That's probably enough about that one.
I know, yeah, but yeah,
that's our number one covered.
So yeah, what's your number one then, Admiral Teague?
All right. My number one is probably going to be slightly shocking. This one, because of the nature of what we're doing, I'm going to speak slightly euphemistically, ladies and gentlemen. So follow with me, if you will. My favorite episode of this season was one of the most shockingly different episodes of this season, which showed the turning of the page of the tone of the show, and which Dick Wolf is involved in writing. It's called Baby Blues, and what's going on here is we start out, we do what we've done a few times in Miami Vice. We drop the needle onto the middle of the song. Things are already along the way when we join this episode on a stakeout in the swamp, and then we have a plane, some bodies, and we go inside. Lo and behold, there are little humans who are being moved around illegally. It's some kind of baby ring. and they don't know what to do. So the cops are acting in the truest of guardian capacities here, right? So that because like what's more innocent than a baby, and these babies have been commodified and transported in a way that was unsafe by these criminals in this episode of Miami Vice. So they lost a few from the mode of transportation, and what happens is Trudy and Gina want to push this case. They push it with Lieutenant Castillo. Lieutenant Castillo gives them autonomy. The episode moves along with them as the focus, with everybody in Miami Vice contributing to this. And there's a cognizance of the fact that the Miami Vice show is not Crockett and Tubbs and friends. It's Miami Vice, the unit of the police department. And they're sort of like a team in this one. Trudy and Gina are front and center. They're the ones who are most offended. It goes with traditional roles, so it's not too woke, right? Like as women, their maternal qualities are kind of more disturbed. Like Crockett, like he's so hardened, maybe he'd walk away from something like this. Tubbs is completely disgusted by it. He doesn't know what to do. He's almost frozen in horror. So Gina and Trudy take the lead, seize the high ground, like ramrod an investigation. It gets better as it goes along. The cops are shown to be able to do things only because they care. The investigation seems to be bearing no fruit. And then at the end, we get find a sleazy lawyer. We find We find Stanley Tucci playing a father who's been suckered and lost a child and had one replaced by this sleazy lawyer, and he's willing to cooperate. All the people who are stuck in this adoption ring, the morality of the episode is right on. We have people who wanted children, who didn't do anything unprincipled, who were lied to by this piece of garbage lawyer, who lied to everyone, and he's absconded with these small humans in a way that was unprincipled and illegal. So he's committing crimes back in Colombia or wherever it might be, and he's getting away with it simply because it's the middle of nowhere, and he's just he has this very cynical guarantee. Yeah, if something goes wrong with the kid, I'll get you another one. It's crazy stuff. By the middle of the episode, we see him giving seminars. He's got the church hooked into this scam with him. They're enabling him. And Crockett and Tubbs just kind of slam the door on this whole thing. And when they try to make the bust, like for once, the department seems to move. There he is. I loved this guy. He kept this consistent bug-eyed look. He looks like something went wrong with Jeff Goldblum. It's just there's something wrong with this guy. But he's the sleazy lawyer fronting these babies. They stop him simply because he's bad. It's not even really a vice case. And what this is, in my opinion, is the most important episode we've seen of this show because it shows the pivot to seriousness. It shows the pivot to a team of formidable detectives. There are things in this episode we haven't seen before. For instance, when people talk in their office, that office is now busy. It is not a small trailer with only the principals in it. There are people walking around. There are some people who are having problems. There are other detectives. People are taking statements. People are waving their arms in the air. We've got general chaos in this police station that's now very much alive. Also, when they go places, people will walk from point A to point B while the characters have a conversation, and their movements will mirror the cuts of the characters, bringing added believability to even the most unbelievable conversations. They're trying really hard to sell everything about this episode because it's a little bit dark, and this could best be called the first ever experiment at a special victims unit type of story. These are special victims, and the best way I could sum it up is, in the city of Miami, when people try to steal small humans from Ecuador, Gina and Trudy take their lead. This episode is their story, and it's really good, and it presages Special Victims Unit. And Crockett and Tubbs are supporting players in this one. I liked it. It's number one for me.
Yeah, it is a good episode as well. And yeah, you're right. It is fucking dark because these babies don't just get exported. I mean, some of them die as well on the way here, and it shows that.
And it bothers them.
Yeah, no, because these guys are not looking after these babies to be traded in on as well. I mean, it goes to show they don't see these babies as fucking living things. They just see them as commodities to trade in. And that's it.
And that outrages our officers enough to the point that this is off their purview. They're vice cops, but this disgusts them, and they're not going to, you know what, Captain, we had to see it. I'm sorry, you know what, Lieutenant, we had to see it. And he's like, Gina, Trudy, you've been with this division a long time. You go follow your instincts. We'll back you. And then we see the Gina and Trudy stuff being done by Crockett and Tubbs. And Switek has a bigger moment in this. And all of them get to have shared outrage and show that I love cop shows where the cops just want to be good guardians. I'm adopted, and I was raised by a police officer, so this hit close to home. So maybe I'm biased, but I thought that I can justify it as number one by teamwork, successful tone change that doesn't kill the show. And yeah, this was a pretty gory death for that bad guy douche. Yeah. And we loved seeing him die. And I thought the symbolism of him being shot as he tries to come out of an air vent and he pulls the gun, he makes the first two moves and forces them to kill him. So it's a justified kill by the cops. It's not another shoot him up. He's the only person shot dead in this episode. Someone else gets thrown off a building, but that's because this is strong arm mob stuff going on. And at the end, the moment where they had the child, the mother could take back this child, and the adopted parents are shown to be affluent. They're shown to be older. They're not going to have a chance. They're going to have a criminal record if this happens. And the young Latino mother from wherever she's from, she doesn't let the child know who she is. She swallows her enormous pain. And she leaves this child with this well-to-do family, knowing it will be an educated, well-to-do American, wanting nothing for herself. And at the end of this, it's like motherhood is a beautiful thing. So it's like, while we empowered women, we also hit home that like part of their power is that they are, in fact, mothers. And that made them good at this investigation. They weren't strong. They weren't powerful women. They weren't like... They might have shot some people, but they weren't like, you know what I mean? The Captain Marvel stuff. This was a great grounded detective story of a team of detectives that go off their turf and stop something so immoral that they will not let it stand. Everybody does the right thing. The adopted parents are ready to give the kid back. The mother sees the kid's pain. The child actor cries for the perfect amount of time. I cried and I said, bitch, don't do it. I yelled at my computer twice during this. I had to pause and cry. This was a great episode of television and might in fact be the greatest episode of Miami Vice. And I loved supporting actors, good guardians, Crockett and Tubbs. They got other stuff to do, but he's going to put his dating life and his complaining on hold to be a good guardian. Thank God he loves his city. Finally, some stuff we can all sink our teeth into as fans of a cop show and not two wild cops who happen to have a milieu of friends. So A+ on this and my number one.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, rewatching these episodes, I nearly fucking cried at that episode as well because, yeah, that's a hard thing to do. The mother has to pretty much give up her son because he's already had this life with this other family, and oh god, yeah,
she doesn't even try to share. She doesn't say like, let me have a role in his life. She's like, it's better for that. She wordlessly decides not to tell the kid anything, and she's like, I won't need his shoes or his clothes because he's going to be with his parents, and she just leaves, and it has to be translated. It was beautiful.
And they aren't really bad people. They're just people who are in a desperate situation and want to have a family. It's kind of understandable. But, the guy who plays the guy who sells it, Kronig, his last name is fucking hell. You do want to punch this guy as well. I mean, he's got that really unapologetic attitude where it's like, listen, I'm doing people a favor. There'll be some babies that die on the way here, but I'm bringing...
it's horrible.
I know. You want to punch him. You want to punch this guy.
Did you notice the symbolism, though, of, this is like strong Catholic stuff. When he dies, he goes inverted Christ-like, and there's a ball of fire, flames. So he is depicted as doubly satanic in the moment of his death.
Yeah, because it's like an upside down crucifix.
Upside down crucifix and some fire. So a double satanic. I thought it was just like, and it wasn't heavy handed either. It's just they went out of their way to be able to set up a situation where they could shoot him like that. Older writers took more care. And this is Dick Wolf showing that he can write a very serious show with just enough action that had trigger control and very grounded action. I mean, I don't think he would have tried to pull his gun out. They so had him dead to rights, but they wanted that Christ-like double dramatic death. It's still the 80s. They wanted a big spectacle. This was almost cinematic. This could have been the end of a good crime movie.
Yeah. And the fact that he's sneaking through a vent as well, like a little rat, you know, that's
I loved it.
that's another bit of symbolism for him as well. I love that.
After all those children that he's exploited and deleted and all those mothers, he's left with nothing but pain. Only that mother has the best case of all those mothers who are lied to, is she at least knows her child has a good life. What does she do? Go back to the town and say, for the most part, he gave them to good people? I don't know. A lot of them didn't make it, though. She has the only optimal outcome, and it's terrible for her. And Crockett and Burnett are there to care. And they're like, they belong to the city in the night just a little more because of their pain and because they're good guardians. I loved it.
Yeah. It's a fucking good episode. It's definitely in my top 10. And yeah, thanks very much for that, Admiral Teague. And yeah, back to that. Back to that fucking
From my other purview of Star Trek, they won as a team, right? And their leader, Lieutenant Castillo, was kind of like Kirk or Picard in one of the more laid back episodes. It's like, take care of it, number one. And they did.
Yeah, fucking God bless Castillo. Fucking James Olmos.
That man should lead a freaking armada.
Yeah, he's just so fucking good. We all need a fucking boss like him. He's if you ever feel like the boss is getting to you, he'll be the one that will fucking talk you into getting on with it, and he'll always be there for you as well. That's a great fucking. He's a great captain. He is. So yeah,
nothing like the guys in earlier shows who would always be reaming out their crazy cops. He has slowly mentored his crazy cop into being a less crazy cop.
Yeah, slowly progress. Yeah. Slow progress is better than no progress, I guess.
Yeah, he's like Sonny's IQ's low, but I can work with him.
Yeah. So so that's all of our picks. Those are our top 5 episodes, and they probably will change sometime in the future when I watch these series again. And I'm guessing the same will be for you a lot as well. So, but it's a shame we couldn't get no Toxic or Inside Man or Lance on, but I'm hoping I can get them on for season 4, which probably might be a little bit tougher finding the best episode for season 4, but probably not as hard as season 5. But we will get to that another time. But yeah, thanks for your picks, lad. I love talking about this show. It's definitely one of my favorite shows, even though I've only seen it for the first time a few years ago, and you've seen it years ago, and I've probably watched it 10 times more than I have. But yeah, it's always good to talk about good stuff occasionally, though, especially when you get all the shit in modern cinema and TV these days as well. And so, yeah, and thanks for joining me, everyone, in the comment section. Lord Toxic, Leaf Keen, Jamal Lama, Melvin Deeply, Samu Free Repeat. You're all beautiful bastards. We love you, and Trump Daddy as well. And so before we probably will end up. We're probably going to end up finishing right now. So if anyone wants to promote anything, take it away, Artie.
No, I'm not really a YouTuber. So just thanks very much, Luke, for having me on. It was great to come and talk about these sort of historical episodes, because Miami Vice is a part of North American TV history, and actually beyond North America, was well received in Europe and other parts of the world. So it's a culturally significant show. I'm not going to say it's like the best show ever made, but it's definitely culturally significant, and it was great to talk about it. So thank you very much for having me on, and it's great to be on the stream with Teague again, because gosh, he knows how to tell a story. And I hope that everyone in the chat subscribes to both Teague's and Luke's channels and are regular listeners. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Teague.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome, man. And yeah, Teague, anything you want to promote?
Oh, hey, in 2 hours and 17, 3 hours and 17 of your Earth minutes, I will be doing my weekly Star Trek show at 10 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. every Saturday. Right now we're on Enterprise. We're into the Xindi arc. We're going to try to get through that, and then on to the original series in due time. But join us for the best Star Trek watch party ever. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. Also, I'm usually on live streaming and giving news and views and like weird news and having some fun live with people on my show over at Admiral Teague or at Saving Star Trek. You can find me there, and just subscribe to my channel. You could be the 2,800th person. I'm at 27.99 right now, and join me. You will be well treated. And to my hosts, I say, NEB, on this day that the world loses Black Sabbath, it was my pleasure to talk about this new distraction that I've come to enjoy. I like to watch it after I watch shows like Ironheart, so that I don't have absolutely no hope in humanity. And thanks again for some enjoyable homework. I can't wait for next time. And my regrets that Toxic Man Flu wasn't here. He's a great critic and a fun guy. So Northern English, thanks a lot, man. And everybody, join me for Star Trek at 10 Eastern tonight, or 10 Eastern on Tuesdays or Thursdays. US, and I'll be on, giving you the latest on Star Trek and all the other IPs.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know, because I probably will be going to sleep soon anyway, because it's nearly 12 now. It's 11:45 in my time, so I will try and I need to catch most of the repeats, because there's so many people that we know on YouTube now who've got some stuff out, and I don't always get a chance, but I will try my best one day anyway. And thanks for joining me, Teague, as well. And I will get us on to season 4 probably sometime in the next few weeks anyway. For now, this week, I won't be doing any YouTubing because I'm going out. I'm going on holiday with the wife. Going to take some time off. I will be doing Buffy. I will be doing the Buffy episodic review with retrospective review with Lord Toxic tomorrow, with Tony Boy and Krista Kingsford and anyone else who wants to join on that stream. But and I think it might be maybe 2 p.m. my time tomorrow when he does that. I'm probably 7 a.m. round about Toxic time. So time zones are a bit weird, and he doesn't do it live. He records it and then puts it up later. So it could be any time in the next maybe next 15 hours, who knows? So we'll see what happens then. But I'm really looking forward to doing Buffy tomorrow. I love that show. It's good sort of rewatching these episodes again to talk about. And sometime in the next fortnight, I will do another Bastards breakdown. I don't know what movie I might do, but I might do something that's a bit fun, but kind of worth talking about as well. Maybe a bad film that's worth talking about. Who knows? So, So thanks for joining me, RTNZ. Teague,
very welcome.
Lord Toxic in the chat, and Jama Lama, and Sammy Free Repeat, Trump Daddy, Leave Kane, Melvin Deeply, and so whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching, and do remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and to ring that bell in order to be notified. And if you wish to further support this channel, the links will be in the description below. But right now, that's us done. And I'm off to the pub. Enjoy your weekend, you beautiful bastards.
Baked potato changed my life. Baked potato showed me the way. If you want to know what is wrong from right, you must listen to what potatoes say.
Do be good, don't be bad.
Potato.
Don't be happy, don't be sad.
Thank you, baked potato. And if you want to have a better day, you must listen to what the baked potatoes say.
Don't be early, don't be late.
Thank you, baked potato.
Always eat what's on your plate.
Thank you, baked potato. And if you want to have a better day, you must listen to what the baked potato